And welcome back to the Dragon Cast, the only video discussion series about Dragon Ball that acknowledges that things happened before Z. I'm your host, Hail Zeon, and with me is, as always, the ever-charming Miss Mozilla Vulpix.
Hello. I'm sure somebody is probably going to go in the video description being like, no, I've got a podcast, I've mentioned things that have happened before Z, and okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Zeon was just making a massive generalization.
Yeah, I'm about to say, it's called hyperbole, guys. It's meant to be funny. I like to be jokey. And honestly, some commenters just totally take the piss out of my jokes sometimes, and really just are a total buzzkill. Like, every time I do a video, like the Universal Survival Arc stuff with aggro, every time I put one of those out, someone will take some jokey statement that we said and try to make a legitimate rebuttal to our joke. And it's just like, no, you don't seem to get this. We're less a review series and more like Mystery Science Theater. Like, we're not, yeah, we're making criticisms, but we're really just trying to have fun and make jokes.
So basically, trying to rebut that would almost be like trying to do cinema sins of cinema sins.
I hate both of those ideas. Jesus. Yes.
Sorry, I started this off on a bad note.
Oh man, but yeah, so we've been gone for a little bit. We've had a little 2-week hiatus, and we are back now.
Sorry.
Yeah, but it's all Gabby's fault. I am completely absolved of any wrongdoing.
Basically not issues, just like scheduling conflicts.
Yeah.
It's difficult, but yeah. From now, everything should be okay, and we should be having consistent orbit, generally consistent schedule, hopefully. Yep. If not, don't kill us, please.
Yeah, I mean, they don't know where we live unless they're gonna dox us, and unless they're even in Australia, they can't even get to you.
Listen, let's just not encourage people to dox us.
Please don't. Okay, so
please don't. We're people too.
So okay, last time we were knee deep in filler, so we're now getting to the
out of filler.
Well, okay, we're not out of filler
yet.
Out
of filler. We're not out of filler yet, but within this four span of 4 episodes, we get out of filler. Thank God.
Yeah,
it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, so we had a good train of filler, and we're on our last filler episode until we start hitting the more the stuff from the source material, and this episode stars with one of my favorite sequences in anything that Filler's ever added. This is one of my favorite things, which is just Silver training. Because just seeing this kind of side villain character just, training, really building him up as this total badass. And, he's doing, the exercise equipment, and he, snaps the cable and sends, the weight flying. You see him, he punches a hole, in his punching bag. When he's going to, box a bunch of dudes, he, takes on, 4 boxers at once. He's pros these days, they're pathetic. And it's really building this guy up as, he's not just some schmuck. He is Colonel Silver of the Red Ribbon Army. He is a threat. If this guy had shown up in the world, in the Tenkaichi Budokai, he would have been formidable to some extent.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a nice frame of reference, to be honest, because actually no, at least in terms of the manga, I think we don't really get a very good point of reference as to what these guys can really do, and that the a kind of proof that they're more than just some guys until a few episodes later. But here it's no, so the Red Ribbon Army aren't just a bunch of just random dudes. They're random dudes, but they're still abnormally strong kind of thing. Normally good at whatever they're doing.
Yeah, these ranked soldiers are actual legitimate fighters and legitimate threats to people. And that's something I thought was it's good kind of character building, world building, that the Tenkaichi Budokai isn't the only place to find strong guys. There are other strong guys out there in the world. So yeah, no, getting to see Silver in this mode was awesome. It's one of my favorite things that, I said, that's added. And it really kind of builds him up, only to tear him down later, and that's going to be something I'm going to get into later, because I actually really enjoy that part too. But, yeah, so we get that, and then we get the follow-up from the whole Pilaf filler storyline.
Yeah.
Where Red now has the 6-star ball.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's I was last episode. I was getting a bit confused because I'm like, oh, then what's the payoff to all this? What's this Dragon Ball? How is this going to connect into filler? And it turns out that it's basically that the Red Ribbon Army do get that Dragon Ball, and they do have several Dragon Balls from the start of the start of this arc, because of course they do, because Toriyama's never seemed to really want to like actually go get all 7 Dragon Balls manually. It's always like we'll get like 4 or 5, and the rest I'll get at once.
Right. Yeah, so they start off with like a few, but like it actually does give the filler meaning, because even I couldn't remember, because I remember there was the whole shenanigans with the monkeys and their Dragon Ball, and I couldn't remember like the last time we were recording. It's like, was that a different Dragon Ball, or was that the one that they had from the Pilaf thing? But no, the payoff to all this, was, the payoff here was, we got to see Pilaf come back better than ever, get completely raffle-stomped by the Red Ribbon Army, building them up as the new big antagonist, and then having the Dragon Ball that they got from Pilaf that they've been scrambling for now goes to the Red Ribbon Army. So this filler is actually really well constructed. I'm really pleased with it.
Well, I've got to say, one thing I didn't really like about the filler was the way that the last episode ended and the way that this episode started. The way that... Because last episode kind of ended off with a little bit of a cliffhanger. If I can remember this right, it ended with a bit of a cliffhanger where it's like the airship kind of is like... There's all this like big fight going on, and then Goku's like calling Kinto, and then he like falls off. And it, like, you think that Goku's going to be dead or whatever. And then you just kind of... This episode, the first thing we see is just Goku on Kinto, and he's like, oh, I guess Kinto saved me, and then he's just like, you flash back to that part of him like falling off, but it's like, we never saw that moment where Kinto actually went and grabbed Goku. All we saw is just Goku sitting there on Kinto randomly a bit after the event kind of happened, and it's like, I don't know, it's just like, I felt like we kind of, it would have been really helpful if we saw that scene. It kind of felt almost abrupt in a way.
I didn't think it was really needed. I mean, it's just, it was the, oh man, like, what happened to Goku? And then the next episode, it's just like, we see him on Kinto-un. Like, I mean, I don't even think Goku needed to even say, Kinto-un saved me. Because we see him call for Kinto-un, and then he gets blasted away.
Yeah, but then it's like, and it flashbacks to that as well, but it's like, I don't know, it's just like, because it's weird, because like the last thing we saw of Goku last episode was him in danger, and here suddenly we just see him completely fine. Not him being saved, but him just completely fine. So it's like, I don't know, that just kind of like felt a bit like a bit griping for me, but
that didn't bother me. Like, I didn't really see it, because I to me, I got it's like I guess like a comparison would be like, like we didn't see Kinto snatch Gohan out from underneath Nappa's foot. It's just like he stomps down, and then it's just like, oh,
that's like 2 seconds anyway, and it's like it's the
if they wanted to break that up, they could have. Like, I mean, if they had, like, broken that up into, like, 2 separate episodes, and, like, had, like, the stomp come down, and then the episode ended there, and then it came back to that, like, it would have essentially been the exact same thing. It's just, I don't know.
I felt like that would be a bit different, because, like, that is the moment where he gets saved. It's not, like, after the event actually occurred, but whatever. Yeah, that's just one thing, but...
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't personally bother me, but, like, so... We get Goku and monkeys and the 5-star ball, and this is the fluffiest thing in this entire, like, all these filler episodes that we've watched so far. I'm pretty sure this is the fluffiest fluff material we've hit so far.
Oh, it's weird. I mean, I can't really think about what Toei was thinking. They're like, all right, what should we do? Why don't we have... I know, we will have Goku interact with monkeys, get it? Because he's like a monkey, and then he can see real monkeys, and they can bond over being monkeys and whatnot. Also, for some reason I have to mention this, they meet a baby monkey and the mother monkey, and the mother monkey, we get to see monkey titties, because...
Japan.
Why not?
Or maybe it's just Toei. I don't even know.
Monkey titties.
But yeah, no, I was wondering, I'm like, why does that monkey have tits? That's so weird.
It's like, I don't know. I mean, like, maybe I haven't seen enough monkeys in real life. I mean, it's not like I live where monkeys normally live, but, like, do monkeys have... I don't want to just, like, ask, do monkeys have big breasts? But, like...
You know what? You know, I have no shame. I'm gonna put that in my Google search history.
But yeah, it's like, and so it's that kind of cliche where you got like, in fact, now I'm just thinking about it. You've got a mother and a child, and that happens again in the Jingle Village stuff. But yeah, so you got like, you know, the child monkey who's like little and stuff, and that's the one that's more the curious one. And then it's got the mother, and it's like, you know, that pathos, and it's like, oh, look how happy they are. Isn't it going to be great when the Red Ribbon Army inevitably show up and tear that happy life apart or whatever?
Not.
Have you found monkey titties yet?
Not like what we were seeing in that episode. Like, not full bosoms and... Good lord, there's too much monkey penis on this search engine. Like, what the hell, Google? Okay, you know what? That was a bad idea. I regret everything. I don't... I mean, I
was gonna say, is your safe search on or not?
I don't think safe search is gonna filter out monkey penis. Especially whenever I'm specifically looking up monkey breasts.
Okay, I mean, I know people probably like, why were you doing this? Why are you bringing this up? But okay, listen, this was what I was thinking when I was watching the episode, so you guys have to suffer through it as well.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, like, I was wondering it too. Like, the whole time, I'm just like, why does she have tits? Why is the monkey, like, is it so we know it's a girl monkey? You put eyelashes on it, was that not enough?
Exactly, I don't know, it's like, I don't want to even just say that it's getting to that stupid, like, oh yeah, you know, it like, that whole problem where it's like, when you have, like, anthropomorphized females, and you give them tits, even though, like, they often, like, those animals don't have tits in real life, like, that's not, they don't have breasts at all, but then they give them tits, because that's, like, the shorthand for female, and it's like just like anatomically inaccurate. I just said the words anatomically inaccurate when talking about Dragon Ball. I think we have spent too much time on this discussion.
So it's just some filler that feels less fluffy and isn't kind of weird, but it is kind of weird depending on how you look at it. Okay, we get to go to the Kame house, and we get to see, see Kuda in training. Yep. So, like, you know, he's still going at it, you know, he's still, you know, working towards his goals. He still wants to, like, you know, be better than Goku, and that's good. You know, we're keeping him as the rival character still, because Tenshin Han hasn't shown up yet to steal his thunder.
You're thinking very far ahead at this point.
Yeah. So, like, you know, Kuda, like, you know, he's still the guy. He's still doing his thing. And then we get, like, just them sitting, all eating together. It's a nice little, you know, slice of life moment with these characters. I liked it. And then the Muten Roshi goes into this complete bullshit lore of the Dragon Balls. And depending on how you look at it, this is either, you can either look at it as like, this is a horrible plot hole and inconsistency, or it's world building because nobody really in this world knows where the Dragon Balls actually came from, and he's telling the myth of the Dragon Balls as told and as passed down by people in generations.
I mean, like,
and that's how I like to view it, as the latter.
I mean, the truth is, like, nothing about it really necessarily, like, contradicts stuff. I mean, like, obviously there's no, because the whole thing is he said that there was originally one ball, but then people were using it for selfish wishes and stuff, so the Wrath of the Gods went and they split it up into 7, and it's like, see, on the one hand, it's like, obviously we don't really get any evidence that there was one ball and it was split into 7, but on the other hand, like, the Dragon Balls were made by God.
Yeah.
If God had, like, it's sort of, it's unintentional probably, but it's like, it is, you could sort of say it links it up into it. You could, I was thinking about this today, you could have like a whole headcanon explanation, and it's like, oh hey, you know, in Super they say that the Namekian Dragon Balls were taken from the Super Dragon Balls.
I was thinking
so maybe
about
they only
that.
took a big chunk, maybe they only took like a big chunk, and then they split that up. They had to split it up into 7 smaller chunks. Like maybe they like picked out like, you know, like a big kind of squarish shape, and they took out 7 balls out of it to make 7, like, to make them all nice and sparkly, you know, like this, you could easily justify a lot of this kind of stuff. So if you really want to.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you wanted to play the headcanon game, you totally can. And yeah, but yeah, I do like the idea of just, you know, like, you know, the Dragon Balls are this mysterious thing that even like the great Muten Roshi, like, all he knows is the stories that have been passed down, and much like, you know, any kind of myth or legend, you know, like, it's not going to be necessarily accurate. Now, you know, because God does mention, whenever he shows up, that he was bothered by humanity and how they use the Dragon Balls and how he didn't want to bring them back even after Shenlong was killed. So it actually kind of works. It's nice, so it's a part actual the actual story, and then just the bullshit that humanity has made up throughout the generations. And it's a nice scene. It's kind of weird this entire episode is titled after this, even though this is a really small portion of this episode.
Well, I mean, what would you call it? Clash, the monkeys in the forest, or something like that? Doesn't sound very interesting, does it?
True. All right, you got me there. We got an insert song again.
I mean,
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I actually really... Well, there's two things I want to say about this whole Muten Roshi section. First, but yeah, this one, like I was saying, I do really enjoy this, what happens, the way that he sort of talks about the flashback. First of all, they bring back Dragon Ball Densetsu. That was in episode 30. It was in episode 30, and they just brought it back now in 33. And this time, it's a song about the Dragon Balls, and it's talking about the Dragon Balls to narrate the legend of the Dragon Balls. And what I also like about it is the way that they kind of have these sort of scenes of sort of ancient history of soldiers and something that kind of looks like ancient Egypt, something that kind of sort of there's something that's sort of implying that the entire history of this world has been shaped by the Dragon Balls, and it's that sort of change that if there's some kind of equivalent of ancient history in the Dragon world, that was also, they all had Dragon Balls, and that's kind of how it works. I liked that.
Yeah, no, it's all great stuff. This is one of those things, once again, filler doesn't have to be bad. Filler can, kind of help expand on what was already there, and kind of, maybe in ways kind of enrich, the source material, and that's what I think, stuff like this really does. I mean, yeah, it can also completely pad out and give you bullshit like Goku hanging out with a bunch of monkeys, but we get good character stuff Silver training and the Muten Roshi giving this legend, and we get to see all this history unfold, and it's cool stuff. I really liked it.
But yeah, Zion, one thing I do need to bring up. So, okay, according to this episode, Krillin could only manage to push 2 turtles and the Muten Roshi 999 times. That's Krillin
terrible.
Should be. That is a terrible inconsistency. Krillin should be able to push up so many more times. This is a terrible thing, and it shows that Toei do not know what they're talking about.
Yeah, complete bullshit. I totally agree. Kuririn should have been able to push at least 5 turtles by this point, and the Muten Roshi, and Lunch. Come on. Horrible inconsistency. Where's the power scaling? This show was garbage sometimes, and that was just completely inexcusable. Thank you for pointing out that oversight.
And there you go. There's our sarcastically attempting to power scale counter. You can increase that whenever you want.
Ding. Yeah, so yeah, after the flashback, we get Goku's first real head-on altercation with the Red Ribbon Army. Because in the Pilaf stuff, he was really more interacting with the Pilaf gang, and the Red Ribbon Army just kind of shows up. Here, he has made himself known to the Red Ribbon Army for the first time, and he does it by, kicking the shit out of some dudes, grabbing a boulder, and crushing a tank.
I did actually like the part where he grabs the boulder, mainly just because, it felt like a kind of throwback to the, him having to move the boulder back in the Muten Roshi's training. It's if he could move the boulder that far, I could totally imagine he could pick it up and throw it at a tank as well.
Yeah, and, I love, when Silver sees this, and he's just alright, guess I'm gonna kill me a kid. Just, he sees this small child chuck a boulder, crush a tank, and his immediate reaction is I'm gonna kill this kid. And then a monkey flies by with a Dragon Ball and completely distracts him.
Oh yeah, can I also mention monkey butts? We get to see a lot of monkey butts.
Okay, in fairness, monkeys do have butts. that is the thing. They do have very exposed, very creepy butts.
That is true.
It's one of the reasons why I can't consider monkeys cute animals, is because they have these big bulbous asses that just, no, that's not cute, go away. Take your ass somewhere else.
I just don't know if Toei necessarily had to make it so visually obvious, but I don't know. Maybe.
I wonder the same thing every time I watch an anime and there's a dog butthole or a cat butthole. It happens so frequently. anime does not shy away from butts or buttholes.
Like I know you think I'm like joking about this, but now it's actually legitimately making me think of the idea of like, you know, how much of the anatomy do you actually show of like animals as well? Because like, yeah, you got like, you know, you got like the private areas, you got their butts, you got their like, because you can put a lot of detail, but if you put a lot of detail, that could also be kind of gross. And like, no, I'm now legitimately thinking about this. This is a question that every animator has to do.
Like, you know, this is a show that does not shy away from showing Goku's penis. Monkey butts is not that weird, I think.
But yeah, anyway, but it's like, of course, the Red Ribbon Army, they show up, and to show how evil they are, they of course burn down the forest, the place to where all the monkeys are, because the monkeys have the Dragon Ball, and they need to get the Dragon Ball. And look, you know, we saw these monkeys being so happy, and the Red Ribbon Army are burning down the forest. Look, they're anti-environmentalists. Kill them, Goku.
This episode is very anti-PETA.
I don't know what it is. It's something. It's Dragon Ball filler.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like, it does get across the point. I mean, it's very heavy-handed in the Red Ribbon Army is fucking evil, but yeah, no, it's, like, it's effective, you know, and the episode ends with the Dragon Ball falling in the river, and the Red Ribbon Army just being like, shit, we need to go find the Dragon Ball, and then leaving Goku, and then Goku, this rolls into the next episode, and we get a little bit of padding, just, you know, it's raining, and it's just, you know, we'll wait till the rain clears, and, you know, Goku's hanging out with the monkeys. And it's, honestly, okay, this episode isn't necessarily, like, well drawn or anything, if I remember correctly, but I remember it being, like, really well directed. Like, there's, like, really good shot composition. I think there's a really great shot of Silver on a cliff, and, like, the lightning strikes behind him, and he's kind of silhouetted and illuminated, and it looks really cool. So yeah, there's like some nice little visual elements going on. But yeah, it's just complete padding to try and fill out this runtime, so this episode could end on the Silver Goku stuff. Mostly. One
thing I did actually also randomly like was, I don't know if this is a new piece, but there was this one piece of music, and it was like this very kind of like jazzy music, and I was like, I really liked it. Like I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna keep saying this, but I love all the stuff that Kikuchi made for the Red Ribbon Army arc. Like, a lot of it's just really, really good.
Yeah. Kikuchi really steps his game up in the in this arc. Like, because, I mean, like, the last couple arcs have been fine. I do think, like, the music here is definitely upping it a notch or two. So yeah, we finally get past the padding, and we finally start getting into
we're in canon.
Yeah,
we're in canon material. Thank God. It took 6 episodes from the start of the end of the 21st Budokai to the start of the Red Ribbon Army. There were about 6 episodes of filler.
I like how, like, you know, you've been saying mostly positive things about these filler episodes, but you're just like, oh, thank God, it's finally over.
Well, it's like, because like I said, the problem with filler is, like, even if it's fun, like, there is only so much it can do, because no matter what, it cannot affect the story. We always have to end up back at the manga with basically no change. In this case, the only change is that when Goku and Silver meet up, they actually, like, recognize each other for the first time, and actually recognize...
Hey. The Red Ribbon Army got a Dragon Ball.
But they had a Dragon Ball at the start of the story anyway. Like, we didn't necessarily need to see that. I mean, we could have, I guess, and I mean...
Well, the thing is, though, I mean, by that logic, I mean, we didn't need to see... I mean, like, you know, they could have just skipped over Silver. I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, you know, it's not like you... Like, the things that they added were things like, here, like, you know, let's show a little bit more. Let's, you know, let's build upon, you know... It's not like they were just like, you know, like I said, like, if this whole thing had been like, oh, they lost the Dragon Ball to the monkeys, and then the monkeys, you know, like that whole monkey thing just cycled right back into this, you know, and it just created a loop, that'd be one thing. But there is, like, you know, Pilaf shows up, you know, like I said, Pilaf shows up, he sets up the Red Ribbon Army as the new big bad, you know, he loses his Dragon Ball to them, and then they're on to the next Dragon Ball, and... Yeah, like, I don't know, like, I think it works for filler. Like, you know, I think, yeah.
Oh, no, it works for filler. Like, and I'm not even really going to say the filler is necessarily that terrible. Like I said, like, I do actually enjoy it, but it's just egregious because it is just when you've read the manga and you know that no matter what, none of this really affects what happened in the manga because what happened in the manga already happened, and in fact the anime knew that.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I mean, it's not going to affect what's in the original story, but it can build upon it, and that's what I think it did. Like, I think it did that, and I think it did it really well. And also, because of them bringing back Pilaf at this point, you get to bookend this storyline with Pilaf and Pilaf. Is something that I really enjoy.
Wait, what do you mean?
Because Pilaf's going to come... Because Pilaf is going to come back at the very end after the Uranai Baba tournament. So this entire storyline, this whole overarching thing, is now bookended with Pilaf and Pilaf, which is something that I thought was really cool, and something that I don't know if Toei did that intentionally, but I don't think that they could have known.
No, I'm like, I can't imagine it, because it went for a pretty long time in the manga, and like, I know that there's some filler when Goku goes to Karin Tower and then he sees like a vision of like Uranai Baba. So obviously at that point Toei knew that Uranai Baba was there, but like if that's going to take a while before we get to Karin, so I assume they wouldn't. I think it's just coincidental, but I guess that's nice. It's just coincidental.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a happy accident, which honestly I think that happens a lot in Dragon Ball. It's a happy accident, serendipity, if you will.
Sometimes Toriyama like pretends that was his intention all along, but oftentimes it's not.
Yep. So yeah, we start getting into the stuff from the manga, and it's slightly altered. It's slightly altered to fit into what was like like I said, like Goku and Silver acknowledge that they have met before. That is a thing, and okay, so Lance I know really dislikes this filler because of how it connects to the canon material. Whenever the canon material crops up, the whole army is just nowhere to be seen, and it's just these two prospector-looking motherfuckers and Silver, and that's it. And I agree with Lance on that, but I feel like that's more the fault of the anime adhering too closely to the manga and not altering the events of the manga to more coalesce, but with the filler that they had written up until that point. Because like they could have put those guys in proper Red Ribbon uniforms. They could have added a couple of
it's the uniforms.
Yeah, like I feel.
I thought you meant it was just because it was like there weren't enough people there. It's just like, even though when the anime kind of showed it was like everyone was
like if you go a little bit further, you see the rest of the Red Ribbon Army. That's fine, but yeah, these two guys stand out so awkwardly. Because it's totally believable that Goku just kind of came across Silver when all he had was these two lackeys around him, and the rest of the army is further out looking for the Dragon Ball. That totally makes sense. I can totally buy that as a viewer. But yeah, like the mere fact that they stick out so much, like they're the only ones not in uniform. You see when Goku is flying over later on, and they're still looking, there's one guy not in proper uniform. But he's wearing like a bandana and like a tank top, but he's still like in his like Red Ribbon pants. Clearly he just like took his jacket off. Like he is still clearly like in his soldier garb, but he just took the jacket off, and that's all it was. So yeah, like those two guys just don't mesh with everything else. And yeah, like I mean it sticks out, and I really wish they had put them in the proper Red Ribbon uniforms. Because honestly, them not being in the uniforms in general, I think, is kind of weird. Like, even in the manga. Because, everyone else we're going to see is going to be, like, like soldiers. Like, on-duty soldiers whenever they're, when we see them. So, I don't know. I thought it was weird. That's my problem. Not that we don't see, like, the planes and the armies and, like, all the guys. But just the mere fact that these two fucking yokels stick out so goddamn much in this story.
I mean, then again, like, the anime filler does that thing where it's like they were like kind of slacking off, and then like Silver fires some warning shots. So maybe like they're just specifically a bunch of really kind of lazy deadbeat guys in the Golden Army, and that's why they look different.
True. Because yeah, the anime does change that. Because in the manga, it's like they're just waking up, and Silver's like, "Get your ass out there! It's already 8 a.m." And here, it's like the middle of the afternoon, and it's just two fucking slack-offs. So that could actually be it, too. So, I mean, maybe that was them trying to cover their... Like, maybe that's why they changed that, to cover their tracks a little bit and go, oh, yeah, no, these guys look different because they're slack-offs. And so, yeah, there you go. There you go. Like you helped fill that in for me, because that may have actually been their intention.
Maybe, who knows?
There you go.
Yeah, but yeah, we get into basically the start of the Red Ribbon Army arc in the manga. So he finds a Dragon Ball, and you see some guys who are going around, they seem to be looking for something as well, but Goku's got the Dragon Radar. He just finds it under a rock. He's like, oh, hey, there's the Dragon Ball. Red Ribbon Army guys are like, wait, you just got the Dragon Ball. Hang on, what? Listen, kid, give that to us. We kind of need it. He's like, I don't want to give it to you. You guys are rude. Don't like you. And then he's just like, beats them up.
Right. It's not even like the Dragon Ball he needs anyhow. It's kind of weird that he doesn't, because like in the context of the manga, I'm kind of surprised he doesn't just hand them the Dragon Ball.
Well, yeah, it's just because like they're being rude about it and kind of threatening about it. And he's just like, oh, so you guys are like kind of rude guys. I'm going to teach you a lesson. That's kind of like what Goku has now become.
Goku being a hypocrite, fucking preaching morality of all people.
He's basically now become this guy. He's like, I've decided you were a bad guy. I'm gonna beat you up until you say sorry.
And this is also another part of Goku's character arc that will last forever.
I mean, in a way,
you're a meanie. I'm gonna punch you really hard.
In a way, it is almost like not development, but like showing his character is kind of different from the first arc. And the first arc, he basically just sort of did what Bulma told him to do, kind of eventually. But here he's very much like, He is making his own decision that the Red Ribbon Army are bad guys, and he's not going to give them the Dragon Ball, and he might also beat them up, kind of. It also, it also leads to this whole, thing. I mean, all of Dragon Ball does this, and in fact, Z does this as well, and it just, this situation where I just feel like this is not real life, where it's just like, hey, kid, you are doing something I don't like. I'm now going to come at you with my fists or something. And then he's like, oh, in that case, I'll just punch you really hard so that you fall unconscious. And I'm like, this is not how real life works, guys. But it does in martial arts land.
So yeah, like he takes out the two jokes, and he flies off, and Silver destroys the Kintoon. Goku's just like, no, you killed Kintoon! The Muten Roshi gave me that! And they have their fight, and Goku just curve stomps Silver. Just kicks him in the stomach. Actually, even before that, Silver runs up, snatches the Dragon Ball from him. And then Goku runs past him and snatches it back. And, okay, this is one of those lines that doesn't really make too much sense in the context of the anime, because he's like, you're no ordinary kid. You saw him throw a boulder and crush a tank, bro. In the context of...
Was Silver there to see that?
He walks up right after it happened, so I would assume he had seen it. But still, he knows that this kid just beat up a bunch of his soldiers. Hell, even in the context of the manga, he saw two of his guys just get beaten up. Even if they are, he
didn't see that. He didn't see it. They had to radio him. They're just like, hey, there's a little kid who's beating us up. What do you mean a little kid is beating? Okay, I'll come and see what this is.
Right. Yeah, so
you I can just imagine that, you're some guy in the Red Ribbon Army, and you get this radio being like, help, a little kid is beating us up,
yeah. So, friggin' Silver comes out there, and, like I said, they alter the dialogue a little bit to be like, it's you, it's that kid from yesterday, and blah, blah, blah. And, like I said, Goku just kicks him right in the goddamn stomach, and just all this, like I said, the filler has really hyped Silver up. We've seen him. He is merciless. He is a monster. He is physically intimidating. But Goku is just so on another level. I felt when I first saw this, once again, being completely ignorant of filler and how it worked back then, when I first saw this, I was just like, oh my god, that's such a great misdirect. And honestly, it's really cool to see Silver built up as this big bad, this really intimidating dude, and he gets dropped in 2 hits. And, one of those hits, he literally gets slapped with Goku's tail and just... down. Done. It's over. He has trouble, getting back up. He can't even stand after that.
Yeah, I'm still kind of neutral on it. I don't know if it's a good thing or it's a bad thing that the first guy, the first kind of big guy that Goku faces in the Red Ribbon Army is such a pushover. Because, obviously, on the one hand, it doesn't really, it's kind of establishing them as threats, but on the other hand, this isn't supposed to be a kind of story where the Red Ribbon Army are like big threats. Goku has trouble with some of them, but with the most of it, he's just kind of breezing through, and he's just like on his adventure. It's basically like they're just kind of in the way, as opposed to they're a big adversary he must get stronger to defeat. So I don't really know what to think about it still.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like I said, I know how I feel, and I really liked it because, like I said, I really appreciate like misdirects. And, like, I felt like that was such a good... Because, honestly, it felt like the punchline to a joke that had been set up for, like, 3 episodes. Like building Silver up to this moment, like, just... It's been so serious, so grimdark, and then he just gets bitch-smacked with Goku's tail, and he's out like a light. And I'm like... Ha! Like I said, like it felt like a really good punchline to just a really long setup. And that's kind of how I always viewed it. Once again, always, like, I was really ignorant of filler, and this is still, like, you know, me holding on to my initial opinions of it from that long ago, but yeah, I always appreciated that. And like I said, like, I don't know if that's how Toei meant that scene to play out, like, but yeah, it always worked for me. Because, like, in the context of the manga, you don't know who the hell Silver is. He shows up, he's just some dude, fires a rocket launcher, and then he gets knocked out, so it's just like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, here, though, it's like I feel like this had to have been intentional. Like, Toei knew he was going to get knocked out in 2 hits, and they kept that element of it. And, you know, but they still chose to build him up and make him really scary and really intimidating, and show that he's really strong by normal human standards, just to have him get knocked out.
It's just the only thing that's kind of making me a bit confused over it is because, like, you know, they do this with stuff like Giran, and they do this with other characters like...
See, I hated it when they did it with Giran, like, though. Because that was a tournament fight.
So I'm just like, you know, I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know if this is like, you know, if every time this happens, Toei is trying to build them up as a threat, or to try and make it look like a bigger contrast when Goku beats them really quickly. I'm just never sure when these things happen. Like, I am just never really sure.
See, with the Giran fight, though, it wasn't that one-sided. It was just kind of... And plus, like, the fight itself... Like, the fight wasn't incredibly one-sided, and it wasn't, like, incredible... And it wasn't, like really interesting in terms of being a fight. Like, as a fight, it was just kind of blah. And, like, all that build-up to it just made it even more disappointing. Because it wasn't like it was like a one-hit KO thing, and Goku wins, and it was, you know, like, with this. It was an actual fight, and it was just a really lame fight that had a lot of hype to it. Here, like I said, it's almost a complete farce of a fight, and like I said, like all that build up I feel was intentional, and I feel that that's why that worked here and why it didn't work with Giran.
And I'm just like, it's, you know, like for me, it's like the thing is like, yeah, I just don't know if this is supposed to be a joke or not. That's why I'm still kind of on the fence on it. I can't figure it out.
Well, the thing is though, I mean, we kind of get into that territory of artist subjective. You know,
yeah,
it is what you... So. It is how you perceive it, so... I mean, like, because...
For me, I can't really feel like... for me, it doesn't feel like it's supposed to be a joke. Like, for me, it feels like they wanted to, like... They were kind of upset that Silver didn't get a chance to do anything cool, so they made him do some things cool because why not? Like, that's what it felt like to me, but I'm really not sure.
Right, and I mean, as we've learned, like, Toei isn't exactly, like, you know, the best or most conscious writers about, like, you know, what they're doing or self-aware. So yeah, I mean, you're probably right, but how it all pans out. I mean, that's kind of how I feel about Toriyama's writing in general also, because, like, sometimes it's just like, you know, he just kind of writes by the seat of his pants, but it all just kind of seems to work in the end. And that's kind of how I'm viewing this. But I mean, as we've learned, especially very recently, you know, the authorial intent behind Toei is sometimes really goddamn stupid.
Don't remind me.
Yeah. If you guys haven't read the GT Dragon Box interview that's on Kanzenshu, go do that.
It will crush your soul. It will crush your soul.
It's very enlightening. And yeah, it'll make you sad. Like, as a person who genuinely liked GT, that made me sad.
Anyway, let's talk about something happier. Looting your enemy's house for the goods.
Yeah, okay, so... Alright, so, look at that, like Goku, after beating Silver, he goes, you know, gets a robot, gets a plane, is flying over, He gets to see the rest of the Red Ribbon Army. So, like, you know, it is acknowledging that there is more to these guys, because that's not in the manga. That is something that the anime added, to show that there are more Red Ribbon soldiers, and they are proper soldiers. So, you know, this isn't completely clashing with, so the filler isn't completely clashing with the anime. They are acknowledging that. Then we get Black getting the news that Silver was defeated. And I find it really interesting that this is another thing that they changed from the manga. Because in the manga, Red speaks to Silver directly. Like Red gets the news, and he contacts Silver directly. Or no, like the Dragon Ball is moving. The Dragon Ball is moving, and then he goes and gets a hold of Silver, like, what the hell's going on? And
like, I think they say that as well at some point later on, but yeah, is it? I think at some point they do actually put that line as well. Also in the anime, I think later on. I didn't write it down my notes, so I can't remember where.
Yeah, I just thought it was really interesting to swap out to swap out Red for Black, and
yeah, because I was gonna say, like, isn't this? I'm pretty sure, like, this in the anime. In the anime, it's the first appearance of Black. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
And in the manga, he doesn't show up for a few more chapters, I think, or maybe like only like the next chapter. And I think when that happens, it like the dialogue is actually completely changed. Like, it's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah. So I think Black shows up in the next chapter, because I know when I was flipping through, I did see him, and I didn't flip that far. So yeah, like, he does show up like shortly after that, but. Like, I do find it interesting that they swapped out Black for Silver, or swapped out Silver for Black, because, you know, Black is the subordinate, and I feel like Red directly dealing with this is kind of beneath him as the leader. You know, it's kind of like whenever the anime changed Frieza killing Cargo for Dodoria. You know, like, you know, it's kind of keeping the main villain, you know, the guy behind everything. You know, it's keeping him a bit more detached from the situation, and I like that narratively. And then we finally get Red's face reveal, and yeah, they just show his face. It's not even like built up or anything. It's just, here's his face.
Because, I mean, because that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, in the manga, they don't keep his face a secret. And in fact, it's actually kind of, like I said, the first few interactions we get of the Red Ribbon Army and of, like, Red and Black, it's really weird because, like, in the manga, like, the first kind of proper interactions we get, and we see Red and then we see Black, and we kind of, like, they're both introduced at once, and then they're kind of talking about, like, the whole situation. And then we get a bit of humor, some stuff where we get to see the kind of the start of Red's gimmick of the fact that he doesn't like the fact that he's short, and he tells Black to move away because then, you know, if you're too close to me, it's going to make me look short. Stop, like, you know, move further away. And that's not in the anime, or at least I haven't seen it in the anime at this point yet. So it's like, they do kind of change, they're changing a lot of stuff with the dialogue, and it's kind of a little bit, I guess they want to make the Red Ribbon Army look a bit more like a threat, I guess, and less like a joke.
Okay, yeah. Okay, like, yeah, I'm flipping it out. Yeah, they are introduced on the exact same panel. And, like, yeah, Commander Red is even labeled as Commander Red, so we know that he is the main dude. So, okay. Yeah, they are introduced at the same time, but yeah, like, it is Silver who or it is Red who, like, talks to Silver on the phone. Or, yeah. So, yeah, like I said, like, I appreciate that they changed that. Like I said, you know, keeping, like, the main villain detached. But yeah, like, the whole face reveal, though, it's kind of weird that, like, you know, like, they kept his face hidden for this long, only to reveal it. And they reveal it in a different way than how he's revealed in the manga. Because in the manga, it's just hard cut to Red and Black talking. And then, Commander Red, you know, blah, 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 blah. What the fuck? And he runs off to go yell at Silver. You know, and it depicts him as more, I guess, like, a little bit more panicky and incompetent immediately. And here they're still keeping up that Red is a guy who is still completely in control. Like, you know, he is still intimidating. He is the leader of the Red Ribbon Army. Like the anime really builds up the Red Ribbon Army like an actual army, like a bunch of really bad people who do really bad things, all for power, all for greed, and their leader is just as sadistic as the rest of them.
And they kind of trying to make it a bit more sort of serious, because like there's like one thing, the thing with when Silver shows up and then he's kind of like sorry I failed you and everything like that, and it's like in the manga the way they deal with it is they basically, when they find out that Silver has failed, like on the phone, they're just like, well, this is terrible, we're gonna sentence him to death, and they're like, oh wow, that's kind of dark. But in the anime it's like he's kind of there and there are guys with guns and you think it's almost like, is this like the firing squad or something, but then he just kind of leaves.
Yeah, it's really weird how they, because like I can't tell like what that was supposed to imply, like, you know.
Okay, so you're the only one who was confused there. I was always just like, is he leaving the army? Is he going to his death sentence? I'm just why are the guys with guns?
Yeah, because they chase after him immediately, and it seemed like a thing like because the way I interpret that scene is, okay, like he's going to be executed regardless of his talents and his skills and what Red has thought of him up until this point. He is going to be executed, and he has accepted this. And the big thing is, like, when he goes to walk, like, you know, they go to grab him by his arms to take him out, and he goes, "Get your hands off of me." You know, like, he's going to walk himself out. And I always just kind of imagine that's just him being a badass and walking himself to his own execution.
I'm gonna say, though, it makes Red look like an extra big douche, because, like, in this, you know, Silver actually got him one of the Dragon Balls. There are only 7 of them, and Silver got him one, and now he's still gonna go and sentence him to death because he failed to get another one?
Yeah. Like, it really, once again, it like, you know, because of the filler and because of, like, how they're altering this stuff and, you know, they're changing the material, it's, yeah, Red is a far, because, you know, like, the way it's depicted in the manga, like, you could just write that off as he had, like, an outburst of anger. Also, we don't get to see that Silver got another Dragon Ball, or that Silver is a really competent, strong fighter in his own right. You know, here, like, yeah, we do get to see that, but to Red,
yeah, because in the manga they're almost just like, oh, you know, that's because Silver's just an idiot. I don't know why he managed to get to be a commander kind of thing. Like, Silver's just like trash tier.
Yeah, but here, you know, Silver is actually built up to be like a legitimate like threat. He's like extremely powerful by human standards. He's very loyal. You know, we get to see all these elements of his character, but. You know, he even gets a Dragon Ball, but because he failed that one time, Red doesn't give a fuck. And he's just like, you know, and the thing is, like I said, like, you know, in the manga, it's like this big outburst. You know, once again, Red being the anime version of Red, he is calm, composed, and just outright tells him, like, you know, it's like, you know, you're gonna be executed for this. And he's just like, really? Like, you know, like you valued my skills up until this point, and you're just gonna kill me. But yeah, no, I would say that whole exchange makes Silver come off like a real badass, even to the very end, and it makes Red just come off as just that much more sinister of a character, and I like it.
Basically, more of a complete asshole than like a kind of like comedic asshole.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I mean, he has like Frieza level tiers of evil in this, because like I could see like, you know, Frieza just voip out a guy because they fucked up one time. He almost voips out friggin' Zarbon for not getting him, or for like not finding Vegeta or something. You know, like. Silver, he's the human equivalent of Frieza in the anime, apparently.
Wait, Red or Silver?
I mean, wait, shit. Red. These days being colors is really fucking with me.
Yeah, I know.
Because I keep trying to keep track of...
Fun fact, one time I did a video...
Like, they're not really names.
Fun fact, one time I did a video where I recorded the video and I was partway through editing the audio and I realized I called White Silver, and I'm like, shit, and I had to go and find it and then like re-record it also. Yeah, no,
it gets confusing. Honestly, I had that problem with Dragon Ball. Like, I remember, what was it? For like an entire video, I think I just kept calling Gohan Goku. No, I think I called like Goten Gohan for like an entire video once and went, fuck. So yeah, no, like Dragon Ball names, it's easy to get these suckers mixed up when you're talking about all the characters of like a specific set. like this.
It doesn't help that none of them have any sort of gimmicks that are related to their names. Like,
No.
it's like, in some of them, it's like, you know, some of it's okay because it's like, oh, red has red hair and white has white hair, but silver doesn't have silver hair.
Yeah, no.
Black is black. Okay, sure, that's kind of pretty on the nose there, Toriyama, but
Not racist at all.
It's like,
just labeling it what it is.
Oh, I don't know. I think some people have said that black might be a little bit offensive, but I can't really remember why.
Lance brought that up, that in the anime, his rank is changed to make him a pun on a racist caricature from like an old comic.
Oh, okay.
So that is specifically in the anime specifically because he has a different title.
That's
so
fun.
Yeah, like and they changed his title to make it a pun because the Japanese word for that sounded like Black Sambo or whatever, which is like or like Little Sambo.
Yeah, I do remember this.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it! We should just like link to Lance's videos because he's got all the fun facts we forgot about and the fun facts we remembered.
Yeah, guys, if you're listening to us and you don't listen to Dragon Ball Dissection,
what are you doing
what are you
with
doing
your life?
with your life? Like you're failing as a human being. Stop. In fact, stop. Okay, don't stop listening to this. But once you're done listening to this, go look up Dragon Ball Dissection. Go find Myster Fusion. It is the best thing the Dragon Ball community has ever produced.
And in particular, go to the Dragon Ball TV of the Red Ribbon Army arc, because that will probably be him talking about this specific stuff that we are also talking about.
Yes. So yeah.
Back to Goku.
Yeah, back to Goku. He's in a plane being piloted by a robot that crashes, and he nearly freezes to death when a little tiny ginger girl finds him in the ice or in the snow and then drags his ass off. And the narration almost makes it sound like, who is this mysterious girl that found Goku? It's just some mysterious girl who found Goku, and she just lives in a village. That was it.
God, now I'm just expecting
plot twist.
Because they do like the Carly Bear narration with like really like loud music, like falcon music. Yeah. Like, who is this mysterious girl? Is she a true threat? No, she's just a girl, and she's helping Goku because she's a nice person.
Okay, so something that drives me nuts. Okay, this is like the first time these subtitles have really bothered me, and that is the translation of this girl's name. They call her Suno in the subtitles, where clearly her name is supposed to be a pun on snow, so her name should just be Snow.
I think. I can't remember if it's like, because it's like you can have like an elongated vowel or a non-elongated vowel. So I think it's not this. It's actually. Okay. I can't remember if her name is actually supposed to be probably like Snow, or if it's just like a pun on Snow. I can't remember.
Her name is like the way like Kanzenshuu translates it. It's SON, which would make sense, because, it's one letter off from snow, and...
Like, it being like a letter off from snow, I thought it was just like, it's like snow, but like, the vowel is elongated.
I'm saying, like, the way Kanzenshuu writes her name is SON. They drop the W, which would make sense, because, like, because what Snow...
Yeah.
With Snow, like, you would just pronounce that Snow. Like, you wouldn't actually pronounce it Suno. Because because that's
because it's because you were saying SON and not SNO.
Oh shit! Damn it!
It's okay. We're not infallible. We're not infallible.
Anyhow, going back to what I was trying to say and horribly missaying. Okay, but like her name is spelled SUNO in the subtitles, and I feel like that completely misses the pun. So yeah, like that is like one of my few gripes with the subtitles here, is that they really kind of missed the pun on her name, and they added that U.
It's like
they wrote her name phonetically, like how it would be in the Japanese characters.
It's like Frieza with an A versus like Frieza, like kind of like trying to translate out the katakana like in syllables. I think that's kind of what it's like. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, it's just the equivalent of, like, if Trunks showed up and they spelled out his name in the subtitles as Turanksu. Yeah.
Like, I think, I don't know.
It's a super minor gripe.
Yeah.
But it was just, because this character's going to be here for a while, I'm going to keep seeing it, and it's going to... God damn it. But anyhow. So yeah, like, Snow shows up, and she has a name. In the manga, she doesn't even have a name.
Well, yeah, in the manga, she doesn't have a name until the Boo Saga, where the very final Genki Dama that Goku does, and then everyone is like putting up their hands up, and then they flash back to Jingle Village as well, and they're like, oh, Snow, put your hand up, and it's like, oh, okay, so it's her name in the manga, but yeah, I think it was like literally the anime staff asked Toriyama to give her a name, which he's just like, oh, Snow, I guess. It's like, hey, look, they're at a village with a lot of snow in it.
Yeah.
Her name's Snow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be the first time. Yeah, you can tell he put a lot of thought into this character.
Yep. It's kind of weird, too, because I never Lance had brought up that, like, that maybe Dragon Ball was trying to do, like, a rotating cast thing. And, like, the first arc had, like, Bulma and Yamcha and them, and then, like, the next arc was about, like, the Muten Roshi and Kudin, and then, like, like, Yamcha comes back. And then, like, this arc, like, introduces Snow and like, Android 8, and, I would totally agree with that if it wasn't for the fact that Toriyama didn't even bother giving this character a name.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't think... Yeah, because, like, if this character was meant to be anything more than just a one-shot, then, yeah, like, I think he would have given her a name proper. But, yeah, no, he doesn't.
It is actually kind of interesting dynamic, though. Like, I mean, this part of the story is actually... It's probably, like, one of the most kind of, like, classic kind of, like... I'm calling just, like, sort of... Not generic, but like it was the first time I kind of just felt like a really kind of ordinary story without any kind of like real kind of weird parts to it. It's just like Goku finds himself in this village, and this village has a name, it has a gimmick, kind of has a backstory. It's like they had the Red Ribbon Army have been there for a while, and the Red Ribbon Army are looking for this Dragon Ball. They're getting all the men in the village to search for the Dragon Ball, and they're doing that because they've got the village chief hostage in this place called Muscle Tower. It has a name, it has a design. It's like, Goku, you go to... It's like, go to Muscle Tower, infiltrate Muscle Tower, help the village chief, and then get the village chief back to save Jingle Village from the Red Ribbon Army. And it's like, everything just feels so, like, oddly specific and well-defined. And, like, Toriyama was actually kind of thinking about this all, as opposed to just a random thing that they just kind of stumble across. Like, heck, I don't even think that some of the situations later on in the arc aren't as well-defined as this is. Yeah,
like, I never really thought about how well-constructed all of this really was. Like, because, I mean, I know I really love the Muscle Tower stuff. Muscle Tower is one of my favorite parts of this arc. And, yeah, I never thought about just how well-constructed and how fleshed out everything is here. And yet, Snow still didn't have a name in the manga.
I mean, like, yeah, it's not... Yeah, I was going to say, like, it's not fully fleshed out, obviously. Like, Snow doesn't have a name. Her mother is just like her mother. She doesn't have a name either. We don't really know. We don't really see anyone else really in the village at that point. But it's, like, it's much more fleshed out than really many of the other, like... Even the, like, if you compare it to, like, say, the place that Oolong was in, where that doesn't really have a name, it's just, like, some generic kind of village. It's like, the most generic village ever. There's, like, an old woman, and there is a chief guy with a house that says Sherman Priest on the front of it. That's all we really know about him. And he has a daughter. It's like, here it's like, everything feels a bit more, like, thought through, I feel like. I mean, just the very fact that this chapter kind of starts off with, like, showing... And in fact, the chapter before as well, I think, it starts off by showing General White at the top of the Muscle Tower, showing what Muscle Tower looks like. And that's a really cool design, I'll be completely honest. And kind of, like, being like, this is, like, Muscle Tower, Red Ribbon Army base or whatever. So it's like, like, this is very well established. It's very much like, okay, this is Goku, this is the exposition, this is the backstory, this is what you need to do. Now go do it. And on the plus side, you also get a gimmick of it being, like, cold and you have winter clothes for a bit.
Yeah. Like, like, this whole thing, like Goku learns about the Red Ribbon Army, what was it, okay. So yeah, like, I do love the scene where Goku's like, I'm gonna go beat him up, and he runs out, and he comes back. It's really cold out here.
It's like, it's too cold.
I'm like, oh, Goku, he's a relatable, protagonist now. Like, he does have, like, he's not invincible. Like, the cold does affect him. So yeah, like, I love that scene. Okay. So man, like, as we were talking about, like, the filler here really goes dark with a lot of elements here. Like the manga keeps things a lot more light and fluffy.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
the Red Ribbon Army is looking for Goku, and in the manga they just find him in the first house they go in, as far as we know. Here, we see them just completely shooting up, like some old couple's house. Like, where's the kid? And they shoot up their bed. They shoot up like any place where they think like Goku could be hiding, and it's just that they fuck up this entire house just because they're looking for Goku. And it's just like, man, this is upsetting. Like, this is unsettling.
It's a really different kind of tone between this entire arc between the manga and the anime. The manga is still very much far more lighthearted. The anime is just the manga, and the anime is just like, let's just take the whole like the Red Ribbon Army or an evil organization and just take it up to 11 and have them burst through buildings and shoot people. Like, there's that thing where it's like, they're looking for Goku and it's like this tense moment. Goku's gone to the bathroom and then the toilet flushes and they're like, okay, open fire, and they just start shooting at the bathroom. And then it's like, okay, jeez.
Yeah, like, this filler doesn't fuck around at all. Like, and it's weird, like, going back and, like, having, like, going through this episode by episode, taking notes, and then having the manga next to me to flip through, because when I watched this stuff, like, way back when, like, I watched it, back when I was in high school, I watched it again whenever the season sets came out. And then I read the manga sometime after that, if I remember correctly. So, like, there was a pretty good, like, divide between me doing these two things. Like, and I was always exposed to the anime first for all of this. So, when I was going through the manga and I was just kind of breezing through it, reading that for the first time, I never really picked up on the fact that all of these darker elements were removed from the manga. It was just like, because I wasn't like, going like, oh, like, they cut this out. No, I was just like, oh, I'm reading the Red Ribbon Army arc. This is awesome. And like, I never picked up on, like, just how much they really added to and changed the tone of this in the anime. And, because I remember, what was it, in Dragon Ball Dissection when Lance was talking about, the Piccolo Daimao arc. And, yes, once again, add another one to the Lance counter. Like, when he brought up the Piccolo Daimao arc and how much, he was undersold by, like, the narrative. And I was just like, oh, man, like, really? Was it... I could have sworn, like, it showed, like, like all the terror that Piccolo had, like, brought upon the Earth and all this other stuff. I could have sworn it was way more in-depth about that. And then whenever he did the DBTV of it, I was like, oh, that's where all that was. That was... Because, once again, when I read that because I love the Piccolo Daimao arc. But, technically, I love the anime version of the Piccolo Daimao arc. The manga version, in retrospect, it's missing all the things that I really loved about the Piccolo Daimao arc.
I need to probably watch the Piccolo Daimao arc and I feel like I've skipped over so much of Dragon Ball filler. Like, I really need to figure this out, because, like, this is me trying to get my thoughts together. I'm like, is the Red Ribbon Army better when it's played really dark or when it's played a bit more for kind of for laughs? Like, there's actually one thing. I don't know if this was a translation thing or it was something else, but there's one point when the Snow and the mother are like kind of saying goodbye, and Goku goes and runs off, and the anime has a part in the anime. She says, like, the mother says something like, oh, I hope he doesn't get killed. He's gonna be he seems to be a very nice boy, even though he's strange. And but then the manga, like, this might just be the Viz translation, it might be wrong, but the manga kind of says, like, oh, it'll be a shame, it'll be a shame if he gets killed, like, kind of like, that's kind of like a certainty, like, oh, Goku's, this weird kid's going up to his death, oh, it's gonna be a shame when he dies. Like, it's much more kind of lighthearted about this idea that Goku might be, above his head, even if he's not, whereas the anime is just like, oh, no, he might be over his head, but he's such a sweet boy. Like, there is a difference in tone there.
Yeah, and it's... Like, I appreciate it because one of the things I really like about it is that it gives both value, because you can get, like, because a lot of people say like, oh, well, like the anime and the manga are pretty much the same, except for like the anime adds a bunch of filler. Here, the filler completely changes the tone of what the manga did originally. So yeah, like it gives both of them a value, and it gives, it's not like, oh, well, if you've read the manga, then you don't need to see the anime. Here, like, I think the anime has its own value just because it does do things so differently.
That being said, one piece of filler that I just don't really like, that part where Goku is explaining about the Dragon Balls, and they decide to just, like, reuse the stuff from the end of the Pilaf arc, with showing the first appearance of Shenlong, and with Dragon Ball, the Wish first week with the Dragon Ball, and once again, they use Dragon Ball Zensetsu playing in the background. Okay, listen, I never thought...
Right after we just did it again.
I never thought you could have too many insert songs, or reuse the insert song too many times, but like every 2 episodes, they're playing Dragon Ball Zensetsu, and like, guys, this isn't special anymore, stop.
Yeah, no, like, it should not have been used for that. It was a terrible use of that song, because, like, I thought it was kind of weird when it showed up during the Muten Roshi flashback thing, but I'm like, okay, it's okay, because, he really is talking about the Dragon Balls and the lore and blah, 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 but then 2 fucking episodes later, Goku's flashing back to the goddamn finale of the Pilaf arc, and it's just, oh my god, we're doing this song again. Like, I really love this song, but man, that song needs to fuck off right now.
This is really reminding me of, like, this is really kind of almost confirming maybe my hypothesis, where it's like, Toei kind of thought that people were going to start at the Red Ribbon Army arc, so they're trying to explain a whole bunch of stuff that people who missed the first arc wouldn't necessarily remember. Like, if that's the case, that would kind of, if it was just to explain things to people who didn't remember.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's just clearly what it is. It's just, like, I don't mind the recap itself. I mind that song. This song is what bothers me. And I think the recap goes on a little too long, but...
Oh, yeah, that as well. But then it's like, I don't know if it's this... No, because this episode looked pretty... I think it's the next episode where the animation quality kind of drops, but, like, still, the fact they had to reuse footage, Toei kind of squeezing up pretty tight against that schedule there.
Yeah, no, like, I totally agree. And, yeah, no, this episode looked really nice. Like the art direction in this episode, like the way everything was drawn, everything was really expressive. It was probably another in-house Toei episode. I didn't actually check that one. In fact, while I'm thinking about it, I might as well click it right here.
It's 35.
Yeah,
it's 35. And I was just going to say, like, I mean, because I remember this because, I think one of my kind of first exposures to kind of Dragon Ball was also, like in the anime, Dragon Ball anime was also, like, stuff around the Bardock special. And I remember, I'm pretty sure, in the Bardock special, in one of the flashbacks, it shows one of the scenes from this episode, the part where Goku is using the Nyoibo against a whole bunch of the Red Ribbon Army soldiers as he goes and storms Muscle Tower. And it's like, it is a moment where it just looks so good. Like, it just looks really good. And it's like, I can kind of understand why this is like one of those like standout Dragon Ball animation scenes that you're going to put in your like flashback / prequel / whatever the hell the Bardock special was.
Yeah, no, it was great. So yeah, the Red Ribbon Army fucking shoots up the place. Goku kicks their ass, gets some new clothes, goes out to Muscle Tower. And like you said, like, it's the storming the fortress sequence. I love this in everything ever. It is always like a hype moment for me. I love just seeing like a character, just a bunch of either a character or just or a bunch of characters just working their way through a crowd of dudes, kicking the ass out of everyone, making their way to the fortress thing. Like, it's always so cool. And this is one of my favorites.
If there was any place where it could have been improved with an insert song, holy shit, imagine if they did that there.
Why the fuck did that shitty flashback get the fucking get the damn insert song? Like, why couldn't it have been here?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't make it wouldn't make sense to really do it.
Well, no, but I mean, they could have given like some new song or
because it's not about the Dragon Balls, but yeah. Yeah, because I know there's like 2 insert songs about the Red Ribbon Army.
Yeah.
Like, God, they should have put one here as well, but never mind.
I mean, hell, take that friggin' song out that they used in that friggin' episode with Nam. Like, because there was an insert song there. Yeah.
I don't think that would really fit the tone, though.
I don't know. Just put that budget somewhere else. Make a different song. Just something. And I like, because this sequence is so good. And, like, I remember, what was it, like, in fact, like, my favorite cut of animation in all of Dragon Ball is a kind of storming the fortress sequence, which is in the Path to Power, the 10th anniversary movie. Goku.
Is that the ridiculously crazy one? The one that's, is that the one that's like the Mamoru Hosoda did it, or is that something else?
Say that again. You cut out for a second.
Oh, is that cut of animation that Mamoru Hosoda did, or
I don't know who did that specific cut of animation. I just know that it's the one where like Goku is just taking out a bunch of dudes with the Nuobo, and there's lots of explosions. It's just like.
I'm pretty sure that's the one that Mamoru Hosoda did.
It's so damn good.
I saw it on the Sakugaburo. If that's the case, it's like maybe it's like maybe the only reason why part of the reason why we loved this scene so much is because of that part in the 10th anniversary movie. But yeah, jeez, no, it's really great.
Like I said though, like I love that sequence in anything, and just Goku just tears ass on a bunch of dudes really quick, then uses the Nuobo to shoot himself up to like the upper layer. Like the midsection of Muscle Tower, and the episode ends on that point, and White is waiting for him, and see, even I'm doing it now. Now I'm calling.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe we should do a calendar of how many times we confuse the Red Ribbon Army generals with each other.
Right.
Ding.
So yeah. Like he's going. Like that's where the episode ends, and then we get into the next episode of him actually entering the building, and I don't have that much to say about this episode, honestly. It's the shit. What the hell is his? What's his rank? Sergeant Metallic. Yeah, it's Sergeant Metallic versus Goku. Like he breaks in, he kicks the shit out of some grunts, and then there's the fight with Sergeant Metallic, and that's pretty much the entirety of this episode. This entire episode is just this one fight. It's a really cool fight. I really like it. I just don't think I have that much to say about it. How about you?
I got a little bit. Well, the one thing I want to say on this episode, I mean, maybe this has been happening a lot, but this episode I really probably realized it. So between the opening and the recap of what was happening last episode, it takes over 4 minutes to get to the actual like meat of the episode. And I'm just like, oh my god, that's quite a bit of recapping footage.
Yeah.
And like you can tell, like this was one of those episodes. I'm like, oh hey, I noticed the drop in animation quality because of that first shot where you see Suno and the mother, and their eyes are so small. And I'm like, what's wrong with their eyes? What's wrong with their eyes? And I'm like, okay, I think it got turned back to the B team this week.
Yeah. In fact, let's see. Oh man. This is an in-house episode.
Really?
Yeah, like it says, like the director on this one specifically is Maeda.
36?
Yeah, if I saw that one correctly, yeah, 36. Yeah, because I'm looking at the images now. I'm scrolling through it. Key animations were done by. Who did 35? Say what?
Who did 35 then?
Aoshima. I don't know who Aoshima is. I know I've heard that name, but I don't know who he works under.
Me neither. I need to get more.
Animation. Yeah, animation direction though was this was a Maeda episode, and the actual animators, the people who did the animations here, were Aramaki, Aoki, and Shimazu, which I'm not familiar with any of those.
No, neither, because none of these guys are in Super, so I don't know really.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, like unless AJ's done a video on him, and I unfortunately don't know it.
AJ, if you're listening, which you probably are not, but AJ, if you're listening, hey, you know what'd be cool? One time you did this like Super Supervisors, but then you did it with Z and Dragon Ball, and then you can start recognizing it in here.
Right.
We need you to leech all the knowledge off. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like, this episode isn't terrible looking, but it's definitely not. Like, it looks way worse than the last episode.
And it has a lot more animation shorthands. Like, there's one thing I noticed. One thing I noticed when Goku is like fighting a whole bunch of those brown and red ribbon grunts on the second floor of Muscle Tower, and when he like punches them, they do this thing where it's like they move, like they kind of slowly fall, but they kind of slowly fall so cleanly, it looks like they're just kind of manually moving the cell down.
Yeah, like it's Yeah, like Dan.
Like, actually, what it does look like is it looks like they've gone on Photoshop and, like, grabbed it and, like, started rotating it. But I know they couldn't have done that.
Yeah, no. Like honestly, doing weird stuff with cell animation, like, you know, like moving the cells and stuff, that isn't that uncommon. But yeah, no, it's... Yeah, like, there was a lot of shortcuts made here, and... It shows. Like, I feel like this was just one of those episodes that they really had to rush. Because it doesn't even look like it had corrections done to it. Because you usually when you have a My 8 episode...
And like I said, there's so much recap footage. And there's a lot of recap footage. Like, they really, all they really needed to do was say, Goku now storms the Red Ribbon Army to save this village mayor. Like, they didn't need to necessarily say, Goku was in a plane and then the plane crashed and then he got rescued by a girl and the girl said, Red Ribbon, you know.
Yeah, no, they recapped way, way too much here. And yeah, it's just... Yeah, the animation takes a hit. The one thing I think is kind of cool here, and I don't know if they did this because of animation limitations or like just, they're like, fuck it, we need to cut it somewhere. But it was something that I thought was really cool. Metallic's animations are really jerky. Like he's missing frames in his animations. Like as if he doesn't have in-between frames when he's moving. And it gives him... That
would be interesting. Like, if that was intentional, that would be
I feel
cool.
like it has to be intentional because he's the only one who moves like this. Goku and anyone else, like Murasaki and White, they move normally. And then you have, you know, very specifically Metallic. He has this very jerky look to his movements, and it gives him this really robotic look to his animations. So yeah, it just looks like they just completely cut out in between frames here, and it's actually like a really cool thing, like aesthetically for his character. And it's one of those things that, like, it's the first hint you get that he's a robot. So the anime kind of hints that he's not human right from the get-go with his animation. I thought that was really cool.
So you want to do you want to talk about throwbacks? You want to talk about callbacks, about
sure
references?
Sure.
Because, I mean, apparently this is a Bruce Lee movie.
Oh, yes. Okay. So yeah, this is Game of Death is what this is.
See, I've never seen Game of Death, but I've heard apparently, like, the idea. No?
Okay, Game of Death was this big passion project that Bruce Lee was working on. He was working on it for years, and it was supposed to exemplify all these different forms of martial arts. It was going to be like his big magnum opus, and then he died.
Oh.
And all he had filmed were the fight scenes.
Oh, so that's what they did. Stories... So instead of having a story, they just said, "Oh, Bruce Lee goes up a tower and fights a bunch of guys."
Yeah. So what they did was they got some actor who kind of looks like Bruce Lee to wear shades the entire movie, and they just have this guy in shades pretend to be Bruce Lee up until the last act of the film, where he goes to a tower and is making his way up it and fighting different dudes.
Interesting. That makes sense then.
It's I mean, if you just watch the fights, like the stuff that Bruce Lee himself did, it's great. It's some of the best choreography he's ever done in his career. It's great footage. It's awesome from beginning to end. But as a movie, it's trash, and I hated that movie up until the Bruce Lee parts actually started happening. That is
so, like, ironic. Like, the idea that like, perhaps the only reason why they made it kind of structured like that is because all they had were the fight scenes. But that kind of template of, like, having to go up a tower and each floor you fight an opponent was used just completely straight for this. That's... Yeah. If that was why it was like that, that is actually fascinating.
Yeah, like, I don't know what the original story was meant to be. Because, I mean, like, the way it's set up, it kind of looks like... Because he's wearing, like, the same yellow jumpsuit the entire time. But, like, I don't know if he actually was... If the story was originally supposed to be, like, he was in a tower going up and fighting different dudes... Or if it was or if there was supposed to be like a plot or whatnot. So yeah, it's kind of odd, like, you know, like that, you know, once again, like this movie that's considered by many to be terrible, myself included, ended up being the influence for so many things afterwards that took that, like the whole Tower of Death thing, the Tower of Obstacles and Opponents.
Yeah, this isn't the first time we're going to see this in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, no.
I mean, the last time. This is...
No, it isn't. And the thing is, okay, so here's the thing. Like, this is, like, the thing I love about early Dragon Ball is that you can tell a story like this and have it make sense. Because this whole Game of Death setup, it works in the context of early Dragon Ball. It does not work in the context of the Majin Buu arc. That was stupid. They could have, like, there's no reason they had to go through that bullshit. And, like, the only reason that you really have narratively is, oh, Saiyan pride. They need to, like, fight all the dudes one-on-one in a fair fight. And I'm like, God damn it, Dragon Ball Z, you're stupid right now. Ugh.
But, like, on the other hand, it's just like, really, that's the thing you're getting upset about? And it's like, that didn't even last very long, and none of the guys were even a big deal. It's basically just there to showcase just how strong they were to Kaioshin, so Kaioshin could wet his pants even more than he was wetting his pants.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it doesn't take up that much of that story, but the mere fact that it takes up any of that story at all, the fact that it has to waste time doing Pui Pui, and then doing Yakan, and then doing Deborah, it's just like... I don't think it wasted time just because, like, it really kind of, like, led up to all those kind of character things. Because, like, you know, Vegeta wouldn't have, like, the whole stuff with, like, Vegeta later on, like, that doesn't, like, it literally cannot happen without all of those fights happening, pretty much. Yeah, but I mean, like, it didn't need to be structured like that. They could have written it, Toriyama specifically could have written that better, which is why it bothers me so, because it doesn't make sense for these characters at this stage in that series to be doing this Game of Death thing, where it's just like, oh, well, we have to, like, go to the tower, we have to go down instead of up, we're subverting it, we're going down instead of up, and, you know, I don't know, I've always, once I started thinking about Dragon Ball, in, like, a more academic sense, it's just, like, narratively, I'm just, I've hated that, like, there's a lot, I mean, and it's not like, you know, like, of all the things I could point out, like, that's what upset me. No, there are plenty of things in the there's a reason I don't like the Majin Buu arc. Like, I feel like once the Majin Buu stuff starts happening, it becomes a worse show. Like, it becomes a worse story. I would have been happy if they stayed in the friggin' tournament. I was enjoying that.
I mean, I could defend that part. I think it all kind of has a very kind of consistent logic to it that I think kind of actually makes sense pretty much up until the point where Vegeta blows himself up, but then at that point, whatever on earth they was trying to say,
that arc
kind of gets a bit sidetracked by gags, and then they decide to stop the gags, and they decide to start the gags up again, and whatnot, and then Mr. Satan saves the world, the end. But I don't know. We don't. Let's talk back about Dragon Ball. I feel like we got sidetracked there.
Yeah, just a little bit. But yeah. So yeah, like this fight, like.
Oh yeah. Also yeah. In terms of I forgot. Yeah, the other thing I was gonna say. References. So, Sergeant Metallic seems to look an awful lot like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He's the Terminator, yeah.
He's the Terminator.
Like Toriyama is very heavily influenced by Western filmmaking, apparently. Because later on, he's going to be referencing the Terminator for the Future Trunks stuff.
Yeah, so, and specifically a lot of like Terminator 2 as well, like, you know, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think it was like Terminator 2 actually came out just after Future Trunks, so it's like kind of a coincidence there.
No. It came out. Terminator 1 came out before the Red Ribbon Army arc. Terminator 2 came out before the Future Trunks. It had to have been because that feels very specifically like a Terminator. Well, let me see.
Because I think it was I feel like it was like a few months difference, but I don't know which one came first. So if it was very like oddly specific.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Sergeant Metallic looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He is also a robot. That's why he's really strong, because the whole point is Goku keeps hitting him and nothing is happening. And the reason why nothing is really happening is because he's a robot. He doesn't really necessarily feel pain or stamina or fatigue or anything like that. He's just a robot. He fights people, and that's why he's giving Goku such a really hard, like a tough fight. In fact, it's actually such a tough fight that at one point Goku's like, oh, hey, you know, you should have entered the tournament. So he's, you know, Sergeant Metallic here is basically like the first proper opponent that Goku actually has to struggle with, and according to Goku, he's probably clearly above someone like Giran. So the Red Ribbon Army aren't all complete pushovers. Silver was a pushover, a lot of the other guys were pushovers, the common thugs were, but Sergeant Metallic is actually pretty strong. Like, honestly, like, I actually do wonder what would have happened if he hadn't run out of batteries, because basically it's like, I don't really know. Did you figure it out, or?
I mean, like, I always thought it was kind of lame that he just kind of ran out of his batteries or whatever. Because, like, yeah, you bring up, like, this is, like, the first time Goku's had, like, a legitimate opponent that, like, kind of, like... Okay, I don't want to say, like, he challenges Goku. Because, really, like, even though, like, Metallic is just really hard to kill, is the thing. He's not really, like, that big of a threat. Goku can easily dodge all of his attacks. You know, Goku could take most of his attacks. You know, a lot of his punches and his kicks. You know, and Goku... You know, like, I mean, all Goku really would have had to have done is just blow his friggin' knees out, and he wouldn't have been able to walk. And then Goku just could have left his ass there. Like, you know, it's, like, I never viewed Metallic, I mean, like, it's a little bit more of a challenge, but it's really just more of a challenge in the fact that this fucker won't die, not so much he's really powerful.
Right, yeah. It's like, it's also the one thing that, like, it's kind of like, I enjoy the battle, but I think the one problem I have with it is because of the way that it's structured, it's basically structured over a lot of fake outs. It's a lot of like, oh, look, like, on both sides. Like, it's like, oh, look, Metallic hit a really big punch to Goku, but then Goku managed to survive. Oh, look, Metallic has gotten Goku, but then Goku manages to get out. Oh, look, Goku managed to blow off Metallic's head. Well, actually, no, then it's like, Metallic shoots a missile from his mouth, and he thinks he's hit Goku, but then Goku managed to dodge it. But then it's like, then Goku then does a Kamehameha, and he blows off his head, and he's like, oh my god, I think I killed a guy. Then he starts praying, because, actually, random note there, so, according to the anime, he's, like, praying, like, some kind of, like, Buddhist chant, so, is Goku Buddhist?
Or maybe he just knows that's something you're supposed to do when someone dies.
Yeah, it must be. But yeah, it's like,
I mean, like, thing is, though, does that mean that Buddhism exists in the Dragon Ball universe? Is there a Buddha?
I mean, we had no, so, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, he was very, like, very Buddhist, maybe Tibetan. Again, he was really dark, so maybe he was Indian. I don't know, man. Now it feels like a bit of a mishmash of things. Here, though, yeah, like, but yeah, like Goku just doing like the little Buddhist chant thing, and then Metallic is still coming after his ass.
But yeah, and so, but then after that, it's like, oh, but then it's like, oh, hey, but Metallic is still being able to move, and yada yada. Then he has a rocket punch, which I love that he has a rocket punch, because it's like, oh, and like it's like, you know, when you see the, you know, wires and metallic stuff, that's when you realize, like, oh, that's like the big twist, like, oh, he's a robot, that's why he's so strong, and that's why he's been able to take all these attacks. And it's like, it's the twist. It's not really a Toriyama twist, because it's not really messed up, but it's just a normal twist. But then it's like, I like that. Then it's like he's got a rocket punch, because, like, first of all, that's like a generic robot-y thing to do, and second of all, so later on in, you know, back in the Cell arc, Android 16 also has a rocket punch, so it's like,
yes,
I wonder if Dr. Gero was responsible, or retconning, like, responsible for making Sergeant Metallic. He obviously, he must have fine-tuned his rocket punch skills when he made Android 16 as well.
Okay, that's great.
I mean, then he's not an android.
Yeah, no,
that's
the thing. Yeah, but he probably would have been designated an android if he were built by Garo.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, yeah, like the rocket punch, I mean, that's classic giant robot anime stuff, so yeah, I love it. What was it? I felt like there was something else I wanted to say about Metallic, but, oh well. Yeah, like, it's a good fight. It's just one of those things where, like, this episode, like, it's just this fight, and I don't really have a whole lot to say about the fight stuff. Yeah, there's a whole lot of, like, little misdirects and stuff, but, like, you know, it's just like, to me, it's just like, oh, it's just the different stages of the fight. Like, this guy did this, and oh, I got away, and then, I did this. And,
oh, yeah, I have not, yeah. Okay, I've actually got a few more things to say, but yeah, I guess I am very interested in these the way these fights are structured. I guess I do actually have things to talk about. Also, okay, so, random thing, so, if Metallic is a robot, why do his muscles and veins start bulging when he's trying to crush Goku?
Huh. Is that in the manga? No, I'm curious.
I don't think it's in the manga, because the manga wouldn't do that kind of, like, visual thing. That's generally more like an anime thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, to convey, like, the tension and the strain he's putting himself under. And let's see. Yeah, he catches him. Yeah, his veins do pop out.
Toriyama, jeez. I mean, I guess it's like that. You know, now I am very curious as to what Sergeant Metallic's backstory is, because if he's not a Jiro robot, because he's not a Jinzo Ningen, he's just some other guy, and he is a Jinzo Ningen, and they decided to give him another title, or... Come on, Toriyama, give us backstory for Sergeant Metallic, why not?
Right? Yeah, it's, yeah, I'm about to say, like, in retrospect, it is kind of odd to know, like, you know, once you're introduced to Hachan later on, and then, you know, we find out that there's, like, there's, like, a sequence of things, and then it's like, you know, like, Gero went and kept that number schema going, and it turns out, like, you know, like, Metallic just isn't one of those retroactively. It's weird.
Yeah, and... So yeah, after that, there's this more... I realize this is all anime. The anime does some more fake outs where it's like Goku makes one of his fists explode, but then he's still going. He still uses... Then Metallic then uses his feet, and then Goku does this thing where he kind of like launches through him in a kind of almost like a Piccolo Daimao-esque way, except not as cool. But then it's still not enough, and then it's like... Fine, and Goku, in the anime, in the manga, it's just like Goku's like, I'm gonna get kind of serious. In the anime, he's like, I'm going to do a Kamehameha, but he's just about to do it, and then Metallic suddenly stops. He ran out of battery, and then White and Murasaki are kind of like, oh yeah, we haven't changed his battery for a few months. We probably should have done that.
Okay, so something that I think is worth noting is this is the first time we've technically ever had a villain mouth beam. Because he fires that rocket out of his mouth.
I mean, it's a mouth missile, a missile that's like apparently probably stored in his stomach area, and then fires out of his mouth. But yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's just like, you know, like even this far back in the story, Toriyama has associated launching a projectile out of your mouth with villainy. Because like,
I think they use that in Dr. Slump as well, but and Arale has one of those. Arale has like a nuncha cannon, and she just says it really loudly out of her mouth, and it's also explosive. Yeah.
And she fires it from her mouth?
Yep.
Wow. Okay then.
Yeah, Arale has a mouth laser.
Well, okay then, because it's really weird, because like that's going to be something that Toriyama in Dragon Ball exclusively uses for villains.
Actually, no, I think Gotenks uses it once as well.
Gotenks?
Yeah, when he's Super Saiyan 3 and he's fighting Boo, and I think Boo uses one, and he's like, well, how about, and then like he's just like, well, how about you try one on, and he does it as well. So it's not completely a villain thing.
Okay. Okay, because I don't recall that one, but all right. So yeah. This is kind of interesting though that this far back, like Toriyama is just having villains launch things out of their mouths that are.
It's pretty cool,
destructive things, because like even in the manga, it looks like a beam. Like, because it's like the rocket, but then, like, you know, the flame on the rocket in the manga looks just like he's firing out a ki blast out of his freaking mouth. But yeah,
especially because Goku says, like, you know, if you're going to try and shoot things out of wherever, then I'm going to shoot something out as well. And then he does a Kamehameha back. It's like the idea he wouldn't have necessarily done that if he hadn't shot out the mouth laser. He's like kind of, you know, paying him in return kind of thing.
Yep. So yeah, I'm pretty much tapped for things to talk about this episode. How about you?
Yeah, pretty much. The only thing that I haven't mentioned that I wrote down was sort of like I do find it kind of interesting that in this Muscle Tower thing, it's like White is basically just like this big bad who can see all with a microphone, and he's like just talking to Goku with a microphone. It kind of makes him seem like this really sort of like interesting kind of intimidating villain. It's like, you know, he knows what Goku is doing. He's finding ways to prepare for Goku and stuff like that. Like, in the end, White's kind of a pushover, but this is one where even in the manga, they're kind of like, I guess it's like, even if it's not necessarily the White's the strongest out of all of them, it's like White is kind of like the big cackling villain, and you know he's there, and he's like showing you he's aware of your presence kind of thing. It's something that I don't think really they do that often again. Probably not until the other one I can think of is the other Game of Jet sequence where like Barbary is watching them like eliminate all of his guys, so.
Right. Yeah. Okay, anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Alright. So yeah, I guess that
We go
covers
over an hour and a half again. Yay!
Yeah.
I mean,
hey, thing is though,
I mean,
this is gonna be under 2 hours. All right, it's guaranteed to be under 2 hours at the very least.
Well, if we don't talk for too long on the comments, go breeze through these, except not necessarily. Okay, what's your first one?
Okay, so the first ones I want to jump to are Lance, Mr. Fusion, graced us with his presence in our comment section. And
we are not worthy.
Yeah, and he responded specifically to our podcast on episodes 9 through 12. And he basically when we were talking about the Characterizer Bunny and the Bluma thing. And he says, in response to your question, yes, I am watching this. I'm a little late to the party, but I'm watching. So first off, I have to say, Bluma is not a Lanceism. I was hardly the first person to ever use it. Just wanted to throw that out there. So, okay, we know that is not a Lanceism. However, Characterizer Bunny is a Hermism. So we now know that Herms is where Characterizer Bunny comes from. His manga, or his name in the manga is To Ninjinka. In Herms's guide, he quotes Toriyama from the Dragon Ball Forever as saying, just like his name says, he's a rabbit, To, that transforms people into carrots, Ninji. And Herms turned that into Characterizer Bunny. I liked it, thought it was the best way to encapsulate the idea, so I used it. Funnily enough, Mike recently thought it was a Vizism rather than a name a fellow Kanzenshu admin made. So yeah, that is a little bit of backstory there, and he also goes on to explain that the Characterizer Bunny's name is written differently between the anime and the manga, because it's what was it? Like no, it's not written differently. They read it differently because it's To Ninjinka, Ninjika, and then it's Usagi Ninjika in the anime. So yeah, like they just changed the way you read those kanji.
Yeah. And also, he also commented on episodes 5 till 8, where he's basically saying, in case no one else has said it, the studio that Ebisawa Yukio supervised was called Studio Live, and then he's going into his opinions at this point. And personally, especially at this point, I feel Studio Live is so much worse than Last House. I think Last House is pretty good here, and only got bad near the end of the Frieza arc, where they lost most of their key animators. And then, coincidentally, Studio Live started getting better, or at least better cuts by the Cell Boo arc. So, I mean, animation quality, like, I don't know if everyone agrees there, and I'm not going to say, like, hey guys, Lance is saying this, so this is what is, because I actually I don't really know what judgment of that is, but I mean, that's just something. Studio Live and Last House.
I'm totally going to agree with Lance on that one, because, Studio Live, Ibisawa's team, like they are, especially for Dragon Ball, I do think that they're worse than because Uchiyama's team here, like I said, like I brought this up way back near the beginning of this, like when we first started doing this podcast, like Uchiyama, his style works a lot better with that Toriyama rounded look, and like later on they're gonna lose a bunch of their key animators, and Toriyama's style is gonna get more angular, and it's gonna look a lot worse. Like, I don't think Studio Last House got really abysmal until about, I would say, trying to think, Cell games, is when they really started getting bad.
I mean, I feel like I remember there was some stuff with like Second Form Cell, and I think that was them, and that was also pretty awful.
Yeah, like around the Cell stuff is when they really started getting bad.
It's so annoying. It's like the moment when the story starts dragging, the animation feels like it's starting getting worse as well, or maybe that's just me noticing it more because like there's nothing else in the story to notice. I don't know, but I mean talking like the Second Form Cell stuff, not really the Cell games. I like the Cell games. That is completely irrelevant. Maybe we should get onto the episode.
Okay. So,
episode comments.
Okay, so going back 2 weeks back now, 2 episodes ago now, because that's how we do this. But this is now a month-old episode, so we've had time for plenty of comments to accrue. So first one I wanted to read is just a nice one, which is Brunch Toast wrote, "Hyped. I'm watching the correlating episodes before each video is released now. I've never actually gotten around to watching Dragon Ball all the way through before. For some reason, this podcast motivated me. Awesome." That is exactly that. That is something
great.
I really wanted to get from this podcast, was to get people who, you know, because a lot of people skip Dragon Ball. It's such a shame, and it's such a good show. And like, if this is getting people to just sit their asses down and like watch Dragon Ball, so that way they have context for what we're talking about, like, I feel like I have completely justified the existence of this podcast now. It's just, I've gotten someone.
I feel like I've completely justified my existence as a person. Ooh, okay, maybe not that extreme, but hey, listen, I think that's actually pretty ridiculous that we are getting convincing people to go around and start watching a program, like watching a show. Like, that's actually pretty ridiculous.
It's cool.
We're actually
it's cool.
doing that. We're
having an influence on people. We are digital influencers, if you will. It's good stuff.
Inverted commas influencers. Like, that's an actual term people use.
Oh yeah.
To talk about social media, guys.
I know, and I always use it ironically. I think digital influencer is the dumbest fucking thing. The first time I ever heard of it was last E3 when Rocco Bodie from Mega 64 was sitting on a panel at the last E3, and he was just trolling the entire time, but he was doing it. He was making himself sound like a complete idiot. He's like, "Yeah, I really wish that they had more digital influencers to tell me what I'm supposed to like. Because I mean, how am I supposed to know what I'm supposed to like if I don't have a digital influencer there to influence me on what I'm supposed to like?" And like, Jeff Keighley knew exactly what he was doing and was playing along. The other people on the panel were just getting annoyed at this guy who was just being an idiot, and they thought he was stupid. It was priceless. But yeah, that was my first time ever hearing digital influencers, and then I started hearing it unironically, and it's just ruined for me. So yeah, next comment that we had was Ashley. Oh god, I'm gonna say this so wrong. Ashley, it's Dhanoa. So Danoa.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Ashley Danoa. If I'm wrong, correct me. I am sorry. I'm not trying to butcher names. I suck at reading. You know how you said Goku easily disposed of all of his enemies in the Red Ribbon arc, barring Tao, but he does struggle with Bouillon, Sergeant Metallic, and he may have lost to 8 if he wasn't anti-violence. Love the podcast. And yeah, like, yeah, he does struggle a little bit. Like Bouillon is like a guy who's just big and rubbery. Like, I'm talking about like an actual like martial arts, like someone who is on his level and above. Like, you know.
Although I'd actually have to disagree when you're saying may have lost to Android 8. He would have lost to Android 8.
Yeah.
When Android, we'll talk about this when we get to it, because I actually really like this part. You might know why. But when Android 8 like actually like fights, actually gets forced into fights, basically Goku's like, you know, your punch was even greater than my one, and he's like, yeah, but I don't like fighting, so, you know, like, it is literally, Android 8 was basically canonically stronger than Goku at that point, or at least most likely.
Yeah,
so.
no, like, okay, he's definitely stronger, but the thing is that, once again, he isn't someone that Goku had to fight. Like, now, if we were talking about, like, the 10th anniversary movie, they actually fight there. Here, they don't fight at all. So, you know, so that doesn't even count. So, but yeah, like Major Metallic, the only, like I was saying before, like, the only thing that makes him, like an opponent is that he's a robot, so he just won't fucking stay down. And Bouillon's this weird, goopy blob monster thing. And, I mean, like, yeah, he does struggle way more with him than anything else. But, like, I still, like as far as, like, an actual, like combatant, like an actual fighter for him to go against, Tao, to me, is, like, the only person where, like, it's a legitimate challenge where, like, you know, he is getting the shit kicked out of him, where that really isn't the case with Metallic or Bouillon. Yeah,
it's basically because, like, he actually loses and he comes back for a rematch. Like, that's the only example where that really happens, so.
And then Ashley also made a second comment that's, there needs to be a land/Mist-Air fusion counter. And to which you responded with, also a sarcastically attempting the power scale counter and a I hate Poir counter.
Rewatching.
So yeah, no, which is why we've been doing this. Like ever since we've read this comment, we've actually referenced this in the last 2 episodes. It's just like the Lance counter. Yeah, there's now a Lance counter. Ding, mark that down, guys.
It is also probably the reason why I decided to do it, sarcastically attempting to power scale something in this episode as well. It's just so good. It's fun now. Now it's a running gag. It's a fun running gag.
See, I like when I started doing it. You're like, and now you're just in on it too, and it's great. See, it's fun to make fun of this fandom, isn't it?
I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe it's just like I'm slowly learning to embrace the hatred of the Dragon Ball fandom.
Just maliciously poking fun at them because
just so you know,
it's cathartic.
It's all Zeon's fault, okay? It's all his fault.
Yeah, no. I am the instigator. I am the one that started all of this. I will take full blame for that. Let's see. Another really kind of positive comment that I really like. The length of these videos, and I think... I like the length of these videos, and I think Mozilla Vulpix talks fine. As for the discussion, I have to ask, after watching these episodes again, do you guys have a new appreciation for this arc, or was it always there and just reinvigorated?
Oh, for the 21st Budokai, right?
Yes, yeah, because that was when we wrapped up the Tenkaichi Budokai.
That was on this 2 hours, right? Yep. This one's probably going to be pretty long as well, but yeah. For me personally, like the first time I saw the Tenkaichi Budokai, I loved it. I was just like, oh, this is so cool, because I was enamored with the idea of early Dragon Ball. The fact that I had already loved this show, and to know that there was a whole other show that came before it, blew my mind. So I was super enthusiastic to watch Dragon Ball, which is kind of the reverse of like everyone else in this fandom, oddly enough, but whatever. I apparently have the weird opinions here. But anyhow, I was super enthusiastic to watch Dragon Ball. So when I first saw the Tenkaichi Budokai was the first thing I ever got to see Dragon Ball related, because that was what Funimation put out on VHS first. And, they had the Pilaf arc as well, but I didn't pick that up until later. But like, I was buying these, like, the VHSs, and like when I saw this arc originally, I loved it. When I went back, I was a little disappointed, like, because it wasn't as good as I remember it being. But then whenever I went back for it again for this, I did have, like, because like the things that I had like an issue with still bothered me, but like the things like the Muten Roshi and like his whole character arc in that, and Kuririn's character arc, like it was elevated so much more in these last couple of rewatches that I've done. And I appreciate it so much more now. Because, like, whenever I did my little Dragon Ball dissection video of it, like, I remember being so hyped about it. So then when I rewatched it, I was just like, oh, this isn't as good as I remember. But then going back with another fresh pair of eyes, I did reappreciate it. And it gave me back that same love I had for it, but for different reasons. And yeah. How about you? Yeah, actually, I think that's actually kind of the same for me. It's like, when I first experienced it, I'm just like, I think I was, like, I actually have no idea how I experienced Dragon Ball the first time. I think, for me, there was a lot of, like, bits and pieces of, like, randomly getting bits of the manga and watching bits of the anime, and, like, I can't remember, like, specifically where I was first exposed to it, but it was, like, I think the first times I was probably exposed to it, I'm like, oh, like, I think I actually, on the one hand, I'm like, I really appreciate, hey, this is a tournament arc, but on the other hand, I felt like, I just couldn't get, like, the gag humor was just was pretty tough for me to get through. I was just like, oh, this is very lighthearted. This is very, like, I don't really, like, taking this seriously. And I think I was more used to taking the story a bit more seriously. I hadn't really gotten into that mindset yet. But then I think later on, like, when I was reading through the manga a bit more, and I was like, then I appreciated it a lot more, just for being, like, the start of this tournament arc, and the start of this idea of having this story being shifting from a random adventure to, like, this martial arts, and, like, kind of having it sort of be like that. And then this time, this, like, kind of almost third sort of way of sort of experiencing it, I think, like, on the one hand, like, I realized that definitely, basically, some parts were way stronger than others. And I noticed the parts that were way weaker much more, but I also noticed the parts that were specifically strong and why they worked so well.
So yeah, there you go. Like, yeah, so yeah, like, this current rewatch has, given us a new appreciation, technically. like I said, like for me, like I said, it's being able to reappreciate something that I had lost appreciation for. And yeah, like it was good. See, I love questions like that where it's like a short comment, but we're able to really sink our teeth into it and really talk about it. Alec Toledo was asking us, how do you think you guys are going to handle purely filler episodes / arcs? I'm interested to see what you guys think about those things and how they impact the story in any way. Well,
I mean, we've been doing that. I mean, we did that last episode last time as well. So yeah. We've been.
So well, once again, I feel like this is the.
I feel like next time we should be trying like not to spend so much time just talking about like, but is this filler good as filler, or is filler bad as filler? And because I feel like sometimes we start almost repeating ourselves. Like, is filler good? Is filler bad? But like,
well, okay, I think it has merit when you talk about is this specific filler good? Because I think we've already like touched the topic of how we both personally feel about filler in general.
Yeah,
and we've already stated that. So I mean, I don't really think we're gonna end up bringing that up again. So, like, I don't really see that being an issue in future episodes and stuff. And so unless we get like a pure filler arc, which that won't even happen until the wedding dress arc at the end of Dragon Ball, which is way.
I think there are some episodes in between the tournament arc, right? Like,
there's a couple of like one-off training episodes, and there's like the heavenly training stuff. But I wouldn't really call that.
It's just because I know that. Yeah, I know that Kanzenshu like separated one of those training sequences.
Yeah, they separated two of them. They have the solo training arc, which is Goku after the Uranai Baba stuff, and then there's the heavenly training arc, which is Goku training with God and Popo.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like filler episodes and arcs. Yeah, we're doing it exactly because This isn't like, you know, if we were going to skip the filler, we would have just talked about the manga. Like, there's no reason talking about the anime if we were just going to skip over the filler. So yeah, like whenever we hit filler, we're going to discuss it. We're going to acknowledge that it's filler and how we feel it impacted the episode or the arc as a whole, like we've been doing here. Like, obviously, if you've been watching these last couple episodes, you've already gotten this answer by now. But yeah, that is how we're going to do it. We're not going to skip anything. We're going from the first episode of Dragon Ball, probably to the very last episode of GT if we keep this going, all the way into Super if that keeps going too. So, you know, we're going to be doing this for a while, and we're going to be talking about the everything.
Can't wait.
Right? Honestly, like, I'm really looking forward to getting to some of the later Z stuff in, like, GT and Super, just because I know that's when you and I are going to start having really clashing opinions, and I want to see, like, just how far we differ on that. Because right now, we're both kind of... Because it's like, right now...
It's not even really clashing opinions. It's more just like, I understand why you get bothered by it, but it doesn't bother me.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to get into arguments about it, but I'm saying just, like, because... Up until this, like, you know, like, early Dragon Ball, like, we both, like, just love early Dragon Ball, and whenever there's, like, a bad episode, we both kind of are in agreement about, yeah, this episode wasn't that good, and when we hit a good episode, we usually are like, oh, yeah, this is so great for these reasons, and, you know, we're usually in agreement for a lot of this early Dragon Ball stuff. I'm looking forward to when we get past this, though, and, like, we start getting into some of the more controversial storylines and stuff, like the Frieza arc, the androids.
Frieza's controversial. I was gonna say Frieza's controversial, but then I remember the Lance went ripped into it last.
Yeah, and honestly, like that was so cathartic for me because it was finally someone other than me disliked the Frieza portion of the Frieza arc. I was like, yay!
And it's like for me, it was like. Well, because for me, it was different. Well, obviously, we're all different people, and it was like some things that Lance said were things I agreed with, and then some things he said were things I didn't really agree with, or some things where I'm just like, or some things I'm just like,
right. I mean,
or it was like
opinions.
Or it was like I see lots of I get kind of very different things out of the arc than he does, or I don't know, it's opinions. I mean, like I said, I still don't really understand why Red Ribbon Army is like so beloved by a lot of people, and even after reading the manga, maybe I'll figure it out. I still haven't really figured it out yet, but I am enjoying it so far. So Fandom opinions, they're the best kind of opinions because no one is ever right or wrong and you can just argue for hours over it until you start, like, questioning your life choices.
Like, why did I ever start talking to Dragon Ball fans and make a YouTube channel where I put myself in a position to talk to more Dragon Ball fans? My life's full of regret.
Exactly, and it's like...
But then again, like, if I never started talking about Dragon Ball, I never would have, like, got to meet you or Danny or Lance or any of these other people that I've gotten to know. So, like, there's definitely some upsides. I've gotten to meet some great people in this community because of it. So, and hopefully Kamea-con will get to meet face to face.
Newsflash, guys! Did you know Zeon actually does have a heart? Nah, I mean, I'm just joking. I know you do, but I'm sure some of your fans are...
Oh no, I'm a monster. I'm a monster, and I say nothing but bad things.
I'm sure some of your fans are under the impression that you just have, like, no feelings because you hate Super and, you know, that other kind of stuff.
Yeah, honestly, it always kind of surprises me, like the people who follow me, like, the ones who get who I am as an individual, and the ones who just completely miss the point. Like, just, like, I'm just...
God, I love... Can I just say I love these comment sections of the podcasts because we just say the most controversial shit and then nobody is listening because nobody's... I mean, like, only the hardcore people are watching because, like, nobody's going to sit through, like, 2 hours of this until we start ranting about our own fan bases and...
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so this comment is from Prince of Zawarudo over Salmon. Okay. Yes.
Oh, that guy. Well, I'm starting to recognize everyone's usernames. This is good.
Like I'm starting to recognize, like, people's names as well. I'm like, oh, okay, because I mean we're getting, like, a lot of the same commenters, and yeah, so, like, he's just saying, thank you so much for making me see the fight subbed with the song. It was so good. Talking about the Muten Roshi versus Goku fight with the insert song.
Good. Now watch Trunks killing Frieza and Gohan going Super Saiyan 2 if you haven't already. Next step.
Yeah.
Actually...
Yeah, good stuff there.
Yeah. I would say wait until we cover that, but that would literally, like, it'd take years for us to get to those sections, so just do it now.
Right. Yeah. And the last one that I wanted to talk about that was Rodrigo Rodriguez Jr. There we go. I did it. Okay. This arc is what I thought about during Roshi's episode in Super. Goku and Krillin have surpassed him so much, yet he still commands their respect, and it could be linked directly to the lessons of theirs always having someone stronger. Yeah, like, I mean, I think, like, we even mentioned that, like, in the episode, and that particular episode of Super I fucking loved. Like...
Oh yeah, I remember. I was alluding to it, and I'm just like, I remember. I was like, oh, Zeon, you haven't gone to it yet, but there's one point in Super where these words come back, and you're gonna. And I think you might really too. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You did it too, and it's fun.
Yeah, I like how how you're always, like, surprised when I say nice things about Super. You're like, oh, you like that episode? Good.
I mean, like, your overall opinion is always still like, oh, it's kind of like bullshit. So
I mean,
like.
I feel like as a whole, it's not good, but there are parts that are gold. There are parts that are absolute gold. And, like...
I mean, it's just like, you know, like that meme on Twitter you had when you threw it in the trash.
Say what?
That meme on Twitter you made where you threw Super in the trash to watch Hunter x Hunter.
I forgot about that.
What do you mean you forgot about it? It went, like, viral.
I know, but I haven't seen it in a few days. I forgot that was even a thing. Like, I haven't...
You forgot you tweeted something.
Yeah, no, like, because it was something I did because I thought it was funny. Like, I forgot that was, like... Sorry. Yeah, I forgot that was a thing and it blew up, because it blew up over the course of, like 4 days, and I was just like, God, just die. And then it did finally peter off. So yeah, like, I've completely forgotten about that I did that. Like, that was in the past. Sorry.
Guys,
but
just saying,
as I laugh on my own brilliance.
I was gonna say, if you guys who are listening to this, if you guys agree with me and you're saying that the comments part is the best part of the Dragon Cast, leave a comment. I'll probably mention one of you guys next time we do the comments. Because,
yeah, no.
God, I'm having so much fun with this.
Yeah, no, like, it's always great. But yeah, no, like the Muten Roshi episode in Super was so great, and, like, it filled me with feels. I'm like, oh, because that's the thing, like Super's writing staff, they know these characters so well. As much as people want to bitch,
and I don't think they knew them this well in the 90s at all.
Yeah, no, and like I said, like you could tell that Toei's writing staff, like, they're fans of Dragon Ball, and they remember all these little things that I don't think Toriyama would have remembered. I don't think Toriyama would have written a scene where he directly calls back to the lessons he taught them. That isn't a Toriyama thing, but that's a Toei thing.
Oh no,
like, their
definitely
staff
not.
loves this show, and they love these characters, and they love this franchise, and I don't think they're necessarily good writers, like, in terms of long format storytelling, but when it comes to just taking a character and exploring them, they are so good, and they nail it so well. That, if anything keeps me watching Super, it's that. To see what they're going to do with these characters, because what they do with the characters on an individual basis is always satisfying. I may not like all the power-ups and the transformations and the ass-pull attacks and the dumb fucking plot lines and the contrived storytelling and everything else, but man, when it comes to these characters, Super just nails that, and that is reason enough for me to just keep wanting to see the next episode.
I thought you said you were going to.
And every so often they do really cool shit, like the friggin' Goku, Ultimate Instinct stuff, which is just baller as hell. In Ribrianne.
I thought you said you were gonna stop watching after this arc, though.
I want to, because I'm probably going to stop after this arc. Because I don't know, man. Like those last few episodes have been really good, and I'm like, damn it. Like if they can get their shit together, I might. Because I haven't been impressed up until very recently. And, like, the only things I've really been digging is, like, just a handful of episodes, like the Muten Roshi episodes, the Ribrianne episodes. Regardless of everyone hating her, they can all go to hell. She's great. She's, like, the best new thing Super's added.
Seconded.
Yeah, like, she's amazing. Like, Hit, I wish he had a character, but he does cool shit when he's on screen. As I said on Twitter, he's the Darth Maul of Dragon Ball Super. Like,
he has, like, the best one-liners.
Yeah, he's a little bit better than Darth Maul in that regard, because he actually gets some good one-liners. He gets a couple of good lines, he does really cool shit, and he looks really badass when he does it. So, like, Hit's cool in my opinion. I just want him to have a character, is my big thing. I hear I think
he's kind of got a personality, but...
Yeah, I haven't seen the most recent episode because I'm waiting for 3 episodes to build up so Aggro and I can watch it. But yeah.
Oh yeah, fair enough. It was a little bit disappointing for me, but I still think they at least I don't think they explored Hit in any more specific detail, but I think they kind of sort of know what they were trying to go for.
Right. Oh damn it! We passed the 2-hour mark. Of course we did.
Of course we did. We wouldn't even talk. One of these episodes was filler, and we passed the 2-hour mark. Oh. Why do we do this? I should have stopped talking about the Sergeant Metallic fight and talking about monkey titties.
I mean, I'm sure people were amused.
I blame the monkey titties.
Okay, I'm sure people were amused by our tangent about monkey titties, because I thought it was funny, so I'm sure they did too. And, the Major Metallic fight, if we didn't talk about it, there would be people who are into the action-oriented stuff who'd be like, you guys barely talked about the Major Metallic fight. I'm glad you're here to talk about that, because I didn't have jack shit to say about it. I was just like...
It's actually interesting, because, I actually care. I actually do care about the fights parts, or at least, the fight parts where the fights actually have story to it, and it's not just, the Toei filler fights where it's meaningless spectacle that can't progress the plot because it's just filler. So I actually do care about the fights. That's part of the reason why I watch this kind of genre in the first place. I actually do care about the fighting.
I mean, I care about the fightings too. I definitely care about the fights as well. But the Major Metallic fight in general just felt really skippable. I didn't really feel like I got anything out of that fight.
You didn't really get anything out of it in terms of Goku and whatnot. But it's I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's why I had nothing to say about it. Goku didn't grow as a character. Nothing really happened to advance the plot. It was just, here's this brick wall Goku had to knock down to get up the stairs. and that's why I just didn't have anything to
it's
say
like, this is
about
what
it.
I'm realizing. It's like, on the one, like, I don't feel like my opinion is specifically just like, oh, you know, because it's like, obviously, like, I still really love a lot of stuff about Dragon Ball Z, and I don't, I think I do enjoy the kind of sort of stuff that they do in the Z era more than the stuff they like do in the Dragon Ball era, and I think that's because I actually do kind of like a lot of the fights. I do kind of like the ideas there, and like, it's like, because I mean, I don't want to go too long on this. I'm already over 2 hours, but it's like the idea where it's like the kind of stuff that people sort of hate about Dragon Ball Z and kind of think like the dumb things about Dragon Ball Z and the kind of like, you know, ridiculous, like stupid power-ups and things coming up with no context, and, you know, the power scale doesn't make any sense and whatever. It's like there are things where it's like, there are things there where it's like, I understand why people don't like it, but yet I still really appreciate it, and I can't figure out why, and I will figure it out maybe at one point, but I don't know. I don't know. It's like, I really love the Cell arc, even though everyone hates the Cell arc, and I really love it. And I don't know if it's just because I just like the character study stuff, or I don't know, but I'm rambling. This is terrible.
No, I mean, I'm sure someone out there is enjoying this. Come on. But yeah, I think, that was all the comments I wanted to read. And then we got sidetracked by talking about just the franchise in general.
As we do.
But, I'll say that's what you sell for. Hey, the audio version exists for a reason. You don't have to just have the YouTube video.
That is true.
Like, you know, like, I mean, personally, I love really long podcasts because I listen to them while I'm at work. So, I mean, so if anyone else is like that, you know, I'm sure someone else is appreciating the length of these.
I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would. I mean, if you don't, well, just, you know, binge. Just do the binge thing. Like, just come back occasionally, or if you're like a really long bus ride, watch a bit of it, and then like watch a bit of it, then the bus ride home, or I don't know. If not, just like skip ahead and just say, nah, I don't want to watch these episodes. I don't care about the monkeys. I don't care about the monkey episode. I'm gonna skip ahead until I hear you talking about something I care about. Like, you can do that as well. Like, it's not like this is a chronological order where we keep in continuity nods and you have to watch it all. Like, I don't know.
Depending on me. I mean, if someone had skipped filler, like, you know, maybe they would have, like, because I feel like, you know, no, I guess we haven't made any, like, you know, recurring jokes or anything other than like the making fun of the fandom thing and hating on Pilar thing.
That's mostly you. I'm just like, I don't understand.
Hey, you're indulging in the making fun of the fandom part now.
Yeah, now I am. Oh, soon I will become you, and it'll be bad. There'll be no bad cop, good cop thing anymore. It'll just be two bad cops, and then it'll just like, I don't know what to do. I need to keep my optimism, Zion. Where is it? Where did you put it?
I put it in the cold storage box I put my heart in when Dragon Ball Super started airing.
Alright, okay. Next adventure. We need to go to that cold storage. Okay? You and me?
Alright. Well, honestly, like, I mean, we're gonna be, like, knee-deep in Muscle Tower stuff. I love Muscle Tower. I think it's some of the coolest shit in the friggin' whole arc up until we get to Tao. So,
hey, maybe,
like, I'm looking forward.
And hey, Muscle Tower is cold. So maybe it's the cold storage.
There you go. Alright. Till next time, guys.
Bye.